Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the MiniLCS Summer Invitational 2026. We are on the final week. This is week 8. Finals are coming up. And it's crunch time. There are still some games to go before we can actually hit the finals. We still have 2 games today. We're streaming one live. That's the lower semi-finals of the Weenie Hut. Meepa, I hardly know her, versus Corn and Ball Torture. So yeah, that was a loser semi-final today. Find out who will be going into the losers finals. We also have right now another game about to start, and that is in the hard start. And if I remember correctly what it is, it is Iron Revenant versus Team Wins. Now some of you may ask him, why aren't we streaming that game? Well, it's because I'm being a bit pissy here, and because they didn't put a ticket in, so I didn't really know about the game. So, you know, they can go fuck themselves and not get streamed. There'll be a VOD at some point in the future. And yeah, as you can see with me, we have Tuba here from the Weenie Hut, covering a Weenie game. And the only other piece of information was there was another game yesterday that was another loser semi-final in the Sweat Lords, and that was against the Mouse and Mafia versus Big Bad Buttercups, and the Mouse and Mafia won 2-1 and are through, and it's going to be a rematch for the losers finals. It is Lucidity Red versus the Mouse and Mafia, so that will be an interesting game. But let's talk about this game today, Tuba. How are you feeling about this?
I'm looking forward to a banger match. You know, I know a lot of these teams. You know, I know the Meepa team because obviously I played for them in a game, and yeah, you know, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be absolute chaos. Corn and Ball Torture, sorry. They're a really strong team. They've caught me by surprise, if I'll be perfectly honest. I didn't have them picked to be as high as they actually have been in this tournament, so they've done themselves proud. But it's a big task tonight to beat Bushy's Meepers.
No, definitely. And how, well, having played on the Meepers, what do you think the odds are, without even us looking in the draft yet?
I mean, the draft's not going to tell us anything because Bushy will play anything anywhere in the jungle. If we don't see a Singed or a Rise, we're doing things wrong tonight, I think. But no, I honestly don't know what's going to happen. I do think we've got some team difficulties. I don't know if you're aware of this.
I am, because
with
I can see one team in the lobby right now. So
I'm looking at the Weenie's VC right now, and it looks like Corn and Ball Torture, they could have, I don't know if it's a delay or anything, but I did know that Andy was having some issues. I don't know if you can see in your mod rights a bit more about that. But that could be a massive change if that affects. You know, Andy, he's been reliable this season. He's had his moments, don't get me wrong. But I think, you know, having in this kind of matchup, you need your full team.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that, you know, everything's on the line, right? It's a win or go home. There's no second chances here. It's one best of 3, and then it puts you into best of 5s. You want your full 5 to be here. You know, we've seen Loomis have a fantastic season in the jungle. Mark has continued his run from the Runter Rising, where he had a fantastic season. I don't know much about Chronors, I'm not gonna lie. And Ditsy, even though she decided she didn't want to be a fanny, she's having a great season on support. So yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. And I know a lot of obviously the Meepers team, as I alluded to earlier, Bushy, he will play anything in the jungle. He is one of the most mechanically talented players in this division. Mm-hmm. He's joined by obviously Plume on support, really strong support, you know, great with the enchanters. MZ on the top lane has had a fantastic season as well. doesn't really like playing against Vinko, but it's just, they don't have to worry about that anymore because he's out. And then Llama and Disco Fisk in the mid and bot are, Disco Fisk with a gangplank. It could be something we see out tonight, but only time will tell on that front.
Yeah, only time will tell, and only time will tell if Cornerball Torture can sort out their issues. I am seeing people join the lobby, so...
Yeah, I'm seeing that as well, which is good to see. Still no sign of Andy, though.
Yes.
So I don't know if they know, if you know if they're coming or not. But it's going to be interesting. This is going to be... It's Weenie Hut. You never know what's going to happen. You think you know, and then... Yeah, it goes the complete opposite way. It's going to be chaos.
It definitely is going to be absolute chaos. I have no information about Andy. Hopefully they remembered it is BST and not CST.
So I do know he was looking for a sub possibly. And yes, I am seeing here that there's talk of subbing out Andy. So that will mean, if I remember the rules rightly, they lose the first 3 bans, which against this team is not something you want to do because you're gonna realistically let the gangplank through, you're gonna let the rise through, you're gonna get on. We are seeing Fax is coming on, so that'll be interesting. Again, I think he's been in the top playing if memory serves and has had a really, really strong season. And it does look like Loomis, if the roles are to be correct in the lobby, will be playing mid instead of jungle. So it'll be interesting to see if that's going to affect them, because at this point, changing roles after playing a whole season, it's gonna take a massive difference.
Oh, definitely, especially if you haven't been training, in this new role, and just how the team coercion is. It's definitely going to affect it. So we shall. I will say it is Weenie Hut. If I can play ADC in this bracket, that kind of shows you the level of chaos it is. But no, it's one of these things that, we had a team this season that I thought was going to go far. We had all the talent to go far. Mm-hmm. We just, because of the chaos of Weenie Hut, we never got there. Yeah. Which is half the fun. Now, I have a question about... Go on, it's about your profile picture right here. Did you actually take that profile picture with an Iron Brew? Holding an Iron Brew? You did? Okay, alright. I love it.
It's only the best in the Iron Brew Esports. Sponsored by the one and only. Nah, it won't be the last you see of Iron Brew. I have already started putting together the team for winter.
Oh, lovely.
I suppose while we've got some time to kill as well, while we wait for these guys to get in draft, I'll let everyone know we're not going to have Runeterra Rising right away. It will be after the next MiniLCS. So there's a wee bit of time killing while we wait on this. So yeah, no, it's just we want to make sure we get everything right. But there will be another Runeterra, so just keep your eyes posted. And I think you're being shouted at in chat.
I am. Yes. God.
Nothing new there. Could actually get shouted at in chat.
God, I have to decide on the rules. This is brilliant. I don't normally do the rule stuff. This is...
Where's Day Zero when you them?
Oh, well, see, now sadly, I thought Day Zero would be here to cast, but no, he's decided he's joining in with the hard start games. And he is playing in the other series that is happening right now. So...
Nice.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll land his smites.
We shall see.
Because he's had a good season this season when he has played. I do see we're getting some ready checks and draft though, so that's at least positive. Not that I can see anything yet.
I think it's the first 3 bans? Oh.
I believe it is first 3 bans, and I believe it is for whenever this sub plays, because he wasn't declared.
Yeah.
So that's a massive disadvantage.
Very big.
Especially, you're basically losing at least 6 bans across the series, maybe 9. Like, you get 6 bans if it goes to 3 games. You're going to have to let some priority picks through. And we are in draft, and we see the Lucian getting banned, directing it straight towards Mark, and then obviously the Mel. I know how OP this champion is. Even I can play DC with. But we are going to see the Tristana ban. So that makes me think they're looking for something with a bit of range that doesn't want to get jumped on. So I think we're going to see a Gangplank in this first draft. I think Meepers are going to have... They're going to play for fun this series. They are a good friendly bunch. They all know each other in real life. But we're going straight out with Emilio, which I know is a key part of this Gangplank pick.
Yeah,
I didn't think you'd ever see the day we see a Gangplank in
No, I did not, and that was very
And they're going to take it away!
Oh, okay. But are they taking it away in the bot lane, or are they...
No, I think this is going top. But this is... This is where not having the bans kind of gives you a bit of flex as well, because not only do you... Fair enough, you can't stop a priority pick, but there's 3 less bans on the table, which is a big challenge as well.
Now we see the Caitlyn coming in for ADC for Cornerball Torture and the Zac and Xerath for Meepa.
Yeah, that'll be in the mid lane. The Xerath in the mid lane, Zac in the jungle.
You don't think it's going to be the mage comp in the bot lane and the Xerath in the bot?
I don't. I really don't think so. I think Melio will be obviously support, we know that. But thankfully, mages, as much as I'm a Seraphim lover, thankfully mages are starting to make the way out of bot lane. And we are going to get the Kate Morgana for Ditsy and Mark. Mark being on the Caitlyn. So I don't think Ditsy's showing ADC. And yep, so it'll be Ditsy on the Morgana. Again, we might not get mages ADC, but mages are still available in that bot lane. And I do like the Xerath to get onto this Gangplank with the barrels in the long run. I do think though it will be for Llama in the mid. Although I have seen that man play Bard in the mid lane, and that is a thing. It's a sight to behold. But we're talking about subs. Obviously, Meepers, they got through to this stage by playing with, I think it was 3 subs or 2 subs in the last game, because Pluma and Bushi weren't available. So they had, I believe it was Mazavara and Slender. In fact, Slender was almost playing for Corn and Ball Torture tonight, so that would have been a very interesting storyline had that happened. But we also see the Silas, Akali, and Singed battle. So they don't think the Zac is towards the jungle, and to be fair, it could be for the top side.
It could be, and this Morgana could be going jungle, very oppressive jungler.
She's one of these champions that I know Bushi likes to enjoy. Obviously, Bushi will not be piloting her in this match. But even though, she's not as prominent as she used to be, the fact she's got the clear on her pull, she's got the block binding, she can just be everywhere. But no, it is going to be a support Morgana, and they're going to pick out the Sedge. My only concern with this is you don't have a lot of melee right now to help proc it.
Yeah. So
I would hope to see a melee mid. But it's a very pokey comp currently, and yep, Trundle in the jungle, great counter to the Sejuani. And as a Sejuani player, like, if the Trundle's up, it's not a fun time. Same with Skarner, because you want to be buying health, you want to be buying armor, especially into this comp. So Trundle will just steal all that and just run at you. So I think it's a necessary evil here for CBT. You need some kind of front line to help enable us Caitlyn Morgana, but and then Ziggs ADC, I think it is in the end, with Xerath in the mid lane. Could be completely wrong though. With this team, you never know.
You never know, indeed. This is. Yeah, where is that?
It's a Weenie Hut draft if I ever saw it. I think Trundle has to be jungle. I think it's going to be MZ on the Zac, the Veigar mid. Yep, very safe. I just don't know if they'll have enough frontline here because GP isn't really a frontliner. He can be played bruiser, but I think you need more for Corn and Ball Torture to make this Sejuani work. But it is Weenie Hut. I don't know much about Chronos. Trying to do a wee bit of last minute scouting. Silver 3 in solo duo, but looks like a mid me, or at least from his thing. Let me just see. I don't see a lot of jungle, I see a lot of ARAMs. A lot of ARAMs. So it'll be interesting to see can he convert the Mayhem into actual games, although it is Weenie Hut. It is just one big ARAM Mayhem without augments.
Now we do have the confirmed roles here, the lane assignments, because this is Weenie Hut and that is part of the rules.
I love this feature, the fact, and you were right, it's the Xerath bot lane. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
My concern as well for Meepers is, yes, you've got the Trundle, but you do have a lot of magic damage here.
Yes, I was about to say that as well. It's very
Sedge Sedge can just build a lot of MRs here. You know, if she doesn't go the Blue Sunfire, the Hollow Embrace, whatever it's called, she's not playing right. I think that and Kanik is big. You know, I don't want to see her. I don't really want to see her. I mean, Heartsteel is solid here, but I don't know if it's the best, because yeah, you get tankier with health, but who you hit? Because this Ziggs isn't going to come close. Melio and Xerath aren't, and if the Trundle's close, you're doing wrong. What? Did you get kicked out of lobby?
I did get kicked out of lobby.
Riot! Oh, not another bug. I'm trying to see if anyone else is. Yeah, Bushi got kicked out as well. By the looks of it. Looks like they all got kicked out.
Okay. Oh, we'll be redoing the lobbies, so a bit more delayed.
Yeah, I'm getting invites back in. To be fair, I did notice it was weird because all the ranks disappeared prior to the game, so I thought that was just a glitch. But yeah, Sedge should buy a lot of magic resist here, and I think with the Veigar cage there is some plays you can make. I think if they can get on top of someone, they might just pop, as long as it's not Trundle, because Trundle will just be able to walk at them if he can dodge the cage. And Bushi, he likes these champions that takes the game into its own hands.
Right, let's see if we can actually go in this time.
Fingers crossed. What's your prediction for the series? Are we going the full 3, or do we think it's a 2 for someone?
Now, losing the 3 bads is definitely a tough one to swallow. I'd say it's just going 2, but I think after game 1 we'll kind of know.
Oh yeah, no, I do think it's going to be an interesting series, and both sides have win conditions. You know, I think if Loomis can have a great game, Mark can be solid in the bot lane. Oh, it's busted.
It is busted. Alright, we'll hold off the predictions right now whilst we try and sort out.
You want to go on a quick break while we get the lobby sorted?
Yeah, let's do that. Alright, we will cut to a 5-minute break. We'll be back with game 1 shortly.
Finally, we're back.
We are. And the lobby is working, so the teams have selected their champions in game. And now we're just waiting on the spectator delay. And with
no funny business from Riot at the moment.
we can put the predictions out.
I think I have to go prediction-wise. I have to go towards Meepers. I just think, as a team, the draft is slightly easier to execute. And I think Boucher is going to have a field day in the jungle, but at the same time, I wouldn't put it past CBT to come out and be the shock. This is Weenie Hut. When you expect something, the opposite often and does happen. So yeah, I don't know how you feel about it, Aaron, but I think it's going to be chaos.
I think it will be chaos. Definitely. I am kind of leaning more to the side. Actually, do you know what? I am leaning more to the side of Corn and Ball Torture on this one. Draft-wise. Yeah. I just think it's a more cohesive draft compared and the fact that it's not AP heavy.
Yes.
I think that could potentially be Meeper's downfall in this. For game one at least.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it is a big risk taking the triple AP with the Melio. Melio normally wants an auto attacker. But Melio will have so much value with all the CC with that with the ultimate ability, which will just in these team fights, it'll be so important to make sure that's used not only right, but on the right person. But again, it is Weenie Hut. We don't ever expect anything to go the way we think it's going to go. And often, it doesn't matter how good a game you have, if you can't get that late game team fight, it falls apart. How many games this season have we seen where, a team dominates the early game, they get all the dragons, they completely secure the game, but they lose one fight at Baron, or they lose one fight at Elder, even when being so far behind. Like this current season is, we talk about Atakan previously being the great equalizer. This season it's just chaos in the late game.
Yeah.
You don't see, very rarely see a stomp now. And even then, unless you can finish the game before you get to that point, which I do think both sides have a comp that can do that. Caitlyn late game's going to do ridiculous damage. Trundle eats towers for breakfast. Ziggs blows up towers for breakfast. So the push is definitely there on both sides. Like, we're going to see a lot of towers falling rather quickly here. It just depends on, can Meepers get the Ziggs and Xerath ahead? Whereas CBT, they need the Sejuani to be present, be able to tank up a lot of damage. A lot of magic damage at that. I wouldn't be surprised, I don't know, a lot of GP builds. I think a Wit's End might be a good second or third item here for the Magic Resist more than anything.
Yeah, that's true. I feel what you're talking about, like in chokehold, in the Baron Pit and in Dragon Pits in the jungle, I think CBT do have the upper hand here with the fact you've got the cage, you've got Morgana, Q.
Not only that, you do have the Caitlyn as well.
Yeah, you've got the Caitlyn. There's just so many traps. You've got Gangplank's barrels. He hides them in the bush. He just needs to put one out. CBT can easily blow up any Meeper in the jungle.
I do approve of the Sejuani skin, I will say that.
Well, that's spoilers, mate. Spoilers. We will be getting into game shortly. And with that, I'll be handing off the yapping to you, sir.
Fine by me, fine by me. Just make sure we sync up our game. Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a series. I do think it's going to come down to whoever can make these team fights work the best. But this is Weenie Hut, and it's maybe not so much who's the best plan, it's who makes the least mistakes, and that's where the Weenie Hut is very different to every other series. Every other series in this tournament, you know, it is who can make the best play, who can get that flank. Weenie Hut, it's making sure you don't make a mistake that can be punished. And both these teams are vulnerable to that. So it'll be definitely interesting to see which one will come out on the upper hand.
Well, we can find out now as we go into the game.
Exciting times, here we go. Lovely little cinematic onto the rift. There we go, we see the red team there of the CBT, and then we flip to the other side. And we can see the dancing Trundle ready to go to war. The trolls are off to war, and we are off for game number 1. Six is always a weird walker there in the mid lane. More of a waddle than a walk. We're not seeing anything crazy level 1 though. We're seeing both teams just respecting. Which is a big part of this bracket. You know, we used to see a lot of invades, a lot of she's plays level 1, but now they're respecting each other a lot more. And I think with the jungle changes, you can't invade level 1. I mean, we do see Trundle and Sejuani on the opposite sides, so they're ready to go. So yeah, interesting to see who gets the upper hand early in this matchup. Top side, we see Fax and Puppy top lane. I mean, I think the GP has the advantage early, as we see Puppy top lane already been taken low, already half health. Pops another bit of the goo, but Fax will just be able to use that to his advantage. And this is where MC has to be careful. She can't make any mistakes. You know, you can't let this GP get accelerated, because he is going to be one of the big damage threats for the side of CBT here. Meanwhile, on the bot side, we do see this Caitlyn Morgana, as I thought we were going to do, have a lot of prio here, a lot of push into Pluma and Disco. You know, this Seraph is really good at range, but it's hard for him to make the most of it, at least early on, because Caitlyn is going to poke him out. You know, it's one of the few ADCs that actually doesn't mind these mages at the moment. A lot of damage there, though, from the level 2 Xerath there. And as we see Poppy top lane under tower, she's going to have to try and get what she can of this wave. We see the barrels from GP almost daring Poppy to walk up here. You know, Poppy's not got the greatest wave play. Meanwhile, mid lane Llama's going to get trapped, going to try and trap Loomis in a cage. But Loomis dabs his way out of there as Poppy will get ignited and will probably burn the passive here. And the question is, can they make something from this in the top lane? Because this GP is rather pushed up and Trundle is all the way down on the bot side. Puppy, a lot of that, and can't really walk up at all here. You know, Fax is playing the range of that turret really well here in this top side. As we see the first dot binding land from this Morgana onto the Emilio, but nothing comes of it. Trundle is here in the bot side looking for a gang. He's going to walk right over Vision. Okay. Meanwhile, if we look at top side, we can see the damage from Fax is quite low. We see the Frozen Tundra coming out from Trundle. The Pella will come out onto the Caitlyn, but nothing more. Meanwhile, we see GP is forced Puppy to back there on the top side. Okay. You know, he's got so much pressure, so much push here in the top side. Let's see if they can actually do something with it, as he is going to back, or at least try to back here. But we're going to see Puppy top lane jump in from downtown, forces the flash from the GP. We'll trade the flash back and we'll ignite the gangplank. You know, this Zach might have had to walk the blank earlier, but it's Trundle who will go face first into the briny deep in this top lane. You know, see Loomis in the mid lane get absolutely blown up by this Veigar. Doesn't quite have out yet, but doesn't. Oh, will save himself with the flash. Llama will launch the bouncing bomb, but doesn't get it. Meanwhile, the Q from Dixie does go wide. And altogether, it's a small early lead here for the Meepers, but it is very close, and it's all coming from this top side, which is evening out from the bot side. As the first tower play really of that bot side going across to Caitlyn. Vega's forced to TP back to lane to try and salvage some of the CS. He's down 7 CS at the moment. Trundle and Sedge are just matching each other.
Okay.
Both in sync on these clears. We see some long swords coming out from the Trundle, whereas it does look like Sejuani is building towards that Heartsteel. Five minutes in, it's a very, very even game here. As we do see the first dragon spawning, and it will be a mountain soul here for the first dragon here on the Rift.
Everyone pays.
There we go, we see Fax getting a lot of damage down onto the Puppey top lane again, but meanwhile in the mid lane we see Lubis has got a Trundle in the face, and the super mega bomb will come down from Llama, and that will be 2 kills now over to the Meepers, as CBT are really... They're not losing hard because they've got a lot of strength here, but this is slowly getting away from them, and this is not what you want for CBT. If you're a CBT fan, you need them to start picking up some of these kills. We are seeing a massive CS lead though in the top side, which keeps this GP in it, as the Puppey top lane take a lot of damage from this gangplank, as the ultimate will rain down, as Pluma will get rooted up by the Dark Binding, but Trundle is in the area, so no real threat there. Puppey has been forced to just take these minions on tower. You know, I don't know if there's any point in this game, at least in the laning phase, that, you know, it is in favour of the Zac. You know, I think that's wise, you know, why Bushi's putting MC on weak side duty here against this GP. I mean, it was an interesting pick, and they must feel confident into this gangplank, you know. You wouldn't, you know, they had every pretty much every top lane champion open for pick. So the fact that they went for the Zac means they've got a plan in mind. It's not what I would have went for. But we do know Meepers, they do like a wee bit of a unique draft. And with that, the CS lead for this Caitlyn is starting to have a massive effect, because she's now not only 600 gold ahead, but she herself, being the only gold lead, is having a massive impact and actually forcing CBT to take a shy lead here in the early stages. The biggest gold lead on the Rift, with the Ziggs being the second closest. And the fact this Caitlyn doesn't have a kill yet and has a lead, that's exactly what they want. But we are going to see junglers. You know, the jungles, this is a Sejuani and a Trundle's dream. Just farming away, getting your item, getting to that point where you can actually have an impact on the game. We've already seen a gank from the Trundle, as we see Kronos looking in the mid lane, decides against it, decides the Ziggs is too far back. Still at the satchel charge. So even if you did gank, I don't think you're getting much, but both jungles are a wee bit hesitant to take this first dragon, and you know, both of them have decent vision on it. You've got Scuttle Crab and you've got the Pink Ward, but we are going to see a move towards the Grubs for the Trundle, as Fax is going to walk back up and just push the wave. We are slightly seeing a bit more comfort here from MC there, as we do see level 6 come through on the bot side for the CBT team, whereas Pluma still doesn't have it. So if there's a moment to strike, it is now. They're not going to go for it just yet. Mark is looking for an angle. Tilt over Peacemaker will come out, doesn't get much. As we are going to see our first proper fight of this game here, as we do see Ziggs and Veigar both walking to help the junglers, but the Grubs are all gone. Bushy just took all 3. Meanwhile, Puppey top lane is actually getting some damage back onto Fax. The wibbly wobbly arms don't really get much, and they're all just going to reset. Although we do see Veigar and Sejuani will be spotted out on this top side, but I don't think there's any play to be had there on the Zac. Nine minutes in, and it's a very even Rift here for game number 1. 2 kills to the favour of Meep versus CBT. But one thing we have to point out, it's shaping up to be who can carry more. Is it going to be Mark in the bot lane, or is it going to be Laminite in the mid lane? Both have about an 800 to 900 gold lead here, 9 minutes in. You know, both of them are winning their lanes quite handily. I mean, this Caitlyn is just being able to CS for free here, so if you're Bushi, you need to be starting to make some play here onto this Caitlyn to try and do something. But talking to making plays, we see the bullets rain down from the GP, but doesn't get much. His Poppy top laner will get an ignite back in return, but he's just going to go into the passive form, and that should be a kill on the top side. The fact, let's see if they're going to give it to him, but he does take a tower shot. He will pick it up in the end, but that's a bit closer than you'd like for the gangplank. And finally the cannon barrage is starting to take effect there, and it will be a kill back for CBT. But with that, you're giving away the position of the Sejuani. Thanks to the fact she's not reset to kind of keep her tempo up, she's helped push that wave, and that should just be first dragon to go alongside Bushy's 3 grubs for the side of Meepers. And we're talking about leads, you know, this Caitlyn is now 1,000 gold ahead. She has a collector. This Xerath is only halfway through building what I would imagine is the Luden's Echo. But even then, they are a very, very burst heavy team with this Ziggs and Xerath. If they can't burst the champion, CBT are going to have a field day. And look at the damage they've already done to this tier 1 tower in the bot lane. It's quite impressive there. And there we can see Puppy top lane take a lot of damage again from this gangplank. Not quite enough in the end, but it will just keep them ticking over.
Okay.
As it looks like, barring some miraculous, it should be first tower over to the side of CBT, because this bot side tower is ready to pop. The Dark Binding will land onto Pluma. Ditzy will just walk away. The Xerath stun will land, but it's not going to be enough. It will be first tower to this siege comp in the bot lane. This Caitlyn Morgana. It's not even close down there. You know, Disco Fisk has not had the worst opening lane, don't get me wrong. But it's not the start you wanted if you're a fan of Meepers down on the bot side. But it's not all doom and gloom. Your mid lane is winning quite strongly. Yeah. Chat, who do we think is going to win at this point? Because it's a very, very even game right now. Out with this bot side. Next dragon will be an Inferno here. So it's going to be really, really good if the blue side can get this, because it's going to help their AP scaling massively. As we all can see a wee foray into the bottom river here, as we all see Kronos just walk up into a Trundle. You can't do that. It's a lot of damage on Sejuani, and this is what I was worried about in the draft. The Trundle will steal all your magic and armor resist, and you will just go pop. And that Sejuani, I mean, the health bar disappeared like a hot knife through butter there. And that's just a Triforce on the Trundle right now. He's only 1 item. Sedge is a long way to go to building any realistic armor to defeat this Trundle. And even then, she wants to be going magic resist, as we see the double Ludens coming through for the side of Meepers. A lot of damage there in the mid lane, but nobody will die. Everyone will keep their health bars. And we are seeing that there must have been a short pause there.
There was a short pause. Someone was ping went really high for a second.
So that's obviously, you know, it gave the team a wee bit of a breather, because while it hasn't been the most breathless start, you know, both sides are having a ding-dong battle across this rift. You know, we've seen crazier Weenie Hut games. You know, we always find I always find game 1 it does tend to be a lot calmer, a lot smoother. Nobody's going to run it in the game one, at least not at the start. Especially when we get to this quarterfinal stage, you know, or the semi-final of this lower bracket. Both sets of teams, they know what's on the line, the place in the lower grand final against Rift Raiders. Now, Rift Raiders had a fantastic season in the end, even though they lost week 1 against a certain Fanny team. But we'll see the flash and Disco Fest, and we'll land the stun onto the Caitlyn. The black shield is a wee bit late, but here comes Bushy on the Trundle, double flashes, and the Zereth out from downtown. Caitlyn will survive somehow. That was an ultimate black shield, and she's going to get pilled over the ace in the hole, which will do a lot of damage to Bushy. And somehow, with blinking health bars across the rift, nobody dies. I honestly don't know how anyone didn't die there, because there was so many blinking health bars. That Caitlyn was living on a wing and a prayer, but Mark somehow, some way, finds a way out. And all that's going to mean, though, is unless this pug can make some miraculous, that's going to be a third straight objective to the side of the Meepers. But they are looking for the crossplay. They're going to give up the Rift Tower in exchange for what looks to be this dragon, although Pluma and Disco and Bushy are going to hot foot it down there. Lamanite already has... He could have moved down, but it would have been a bit earlier. Trundle's just taking his sweet ass time. That dragon should just go across to the side of CBT. At least it's something back there. But you're going to lose your mid tower, and this is where the acceleration of the game. Bushy said, right, now's the time we put the foot on the accelerator. They're going to let Shelly take that middle in-head. Nobody's going to take her for a ride for the second time. One tower apiece here in this early game. But the big difference is it's 7 plates for 10 in favour of CBT, and it's a 1.7k gold lead on Caitlyn, whereas both Sejuani and Veigar are down about a k themselves, 1.4 in the case of the Veigar. But because there's a 900 gold lead in favour of the GP, we're dead even on the Rift, folks. This is what we like, Weenie Hut. Absolute chaos across the Rift, absolute parity as well. Morgana will channel the back. It looks like she's going to get it off. Meanwhile, we do see Sejuani still loitering. They don't know she's there, or at least they don't have vision on her. As Trundle is on the opposite side. We see both pink wards on the map there. Meanwhile, Fax and Poppy top laner are taking a lot of having another brawl, and this GP is just not letting this Zac rest. You know, we're talking about a 60 gold lead, a 60 CS lead here in favour of this GP, who's now pushed that lead to about a grand, has the Essence Reaver and has the last Whisper, so that armour on Zac is not going to do much here. As we do see the Trundle moving up towards the top side, he is going to look, and this GP is overextended. Let's see if Bushy can make hay of this. Puppy top laner will flash to trap Fax under the tower. The pillar will come out, and even with the barrel there, that's just one dead pirate captain in the top lane. That's just a couple of times now we've seen Bushy make those plays and have great success. As meanwhile, he's going to look for another one here in the mid lane. Sejuani is already committed bot side, looking onto this Ziggs, who is again pushed up without the tower. We see the permafrost come through. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, there's a mega fight. Lava Knight will die. We see the Zerah out be called out. Mark is taking a lot of damage and will finally fall. Zerah finally getting some revenge. All while Zac on the top side is hammering down on that turret. For what was a chilled game earlier, Meepers are finally turning up the tempo, and they are the ones pushing heavily in this mid lane, trying to punish the fact there was a play on bot side there. And even with the Cannon Barrage coming out, that should just be at least a good chunk of damage there onto that tier 2 tower. And then now we're going to look to set up, as we do have Baron spawning in a minute 20. I doubt they'll go for it right now. But a 1.3k gold lead coming out for the Meepers. It's starting to snowball in their favour.
More powder.
Meanwhile, Poppy top laner will jump in will manage to get the cast, so she's not going to get too much there, as Ditsy is walking up here to try and make a play on this puppet, on MZ, but she still has her passive. So they have to be careful, because even if you kill her, you got to kill all the globs as well, as Morgana will get a lot of damage now with the help of this GP, but Bushi is here as well. The leap from MZ won't get there, but they are just forcing them to back away. Veigar has TP'd up, they're looking to fight. TBT think they've got an angle here. They think, and we are going to see the flash from the Veigar, sorry, the flash from the melee will come out, sorry. I'm looking around trying to see who flashed. But all while this is happening, Ziggs is still on this bot side. And we all know what a Ziggs can do if he's left unattended. And he's just going to hit the tower, and it will just go pop with the satchel charge. We should see any minute now. There we go. And we see pings coming out onto this dragon here as we see the gold leads. Oh no, it's Bushi is so far ahead and the name's so big we can't even see the graph. You know, 200 gold ahead of this Caitlyn, and then it's about 400 gold, but we are looking for a fight here, and here he comes. He does get the pellet onto the Caitlyn, and that hits who he's as his eyes set on. Kronos is trying his best to peel. Ditsy's there as well. The super bomb will land on Morgana. Zerg will get the kill, and now the side of Meepa will run down the Sejuani. Fax is taking a lot of damage as well. Will just get popped. The gangplank is sent back to Davy Jones' locker. It's now Bushi's going to set his sights on this Veigar that will escape with a blast comment. Now Sejuani just walks right back into the Thunderdome, but it will be Lumis that will go down as the minions will claim the tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Meepers, from having a very close game early, they finally turned it on. And it's all coming up Meeper in this first game. Eight kills to 2 in favour of the Meepers here in this game number 1. We see pings on the Veigar, 128 stacks currently for the Veigar. You know, not a bad scaling game, but it's not. You'd want to really be pushing that as high as you can, as soon as you can, especially when you hit this Rabadons, which is going to be 3rd item at very least, as it looks like he is going the tank Veigar route. The Roar is almost there, and it will be the Seraph's 2nd item, but Mark gets a lot of damage taken off the health bar with the Void Staff and the Ludens on this Xerath, who was about 2k gold down at one point, but has managed to claw it back to only a 500 gold differential as the bounties are falling off. They've closed the gap a wee bit there for CBT, but they are still about 4k down. And we are seeing both teams start to congregate around this Baron. I don't think any team really want to pull the trigger without a pick, as we do see Fax is going to walk up to a lot of damage to Poppy top lane, but she will just jump away. Pluma is here as well, but so is Bushi. And Bushi's looking, will land onto the Morgana, but the Black Shield will stop the Subjugate, which is a big play. It's a big ability down there from the Trundle. As we see Poppy top lane launch herself into 3. Doesn't get much. Veigar has not joined the fight, does not have TP quite yet, and will just push the wave. Caitlyn hasn't moved as well, so the fact they managed to resist a 3v5, sorry, for the side of CBT is a really good for them, because not only are they getting so much gold across the rest of the map, you stopped a possible Baron angle there for the side of Meepers when they did have a man advantage, which is really big considering they are about 3.5k gold down at this point, 23 minutes into the game. A long way to go. And one thing we did talk about pre-game was the fact you can have a massive lead like we see here for the Meepers. You know, 3k is a substantial lead, but it just takes one misplay. Bushi, if he uses that Subjugate onto this Morgana or whoever has that Black Shield, it will not go through. And that is, you know, one of his big plus points in this draft is that Subjugate, especially if he can land it onto the Zwane. And we are going to see Bushi just walk up. Now the problem is, you know, the Subjugate will get used up right onto this Sejuani, and Sejuani's lucky that she had that the dash there, but they are going to lose the Rift Scuttle. As it's still 2 minutes, so it's not going to be the end of the world. As Poppy top laner is getting a bit ballsy. He has finally got a XP lead here onto this GP, but I don't think it really matters. There's a lot of damage then. Both of them are burning. Poppy top lane is going to be the first to go down into the thing. We are going to see the cannon barrage, but facts, yo, the Lord Doms in this Essence Reaver is enough. I thought it was a collector, but it was a lot of damage there. GP surviving on a blinking health bar, but this time it's the Zac, which will go down to Davy Jones's locker. Meanwhile, we see Bushy forcing the Sejuani to dash away. These are some signs of life from CBT. You know, they have a lot still on the map. You know, in terms of towers, there's still that tier 1 in top. There's this tier 1 in mid. So there's a lot of gold still to be seen. But Laminite on the side, and we are the cell, and this is where the artillery barrage. If you can survive this onslaught, which they look to be doing, that's a lot of summoner spells used, but Loomis will just get popped by the Ziggs Mega Inferno Bomb. And it looks like they are just going to be able to push this wave in mid for Meepers, as they will look to finally turn to what I would imagine will be this Ocean Dragon in 50 seconds, which will put them on Soul Point, and a Trundle with an Ocean Soul, not something you want. Now we do see pings coming out, but I don't think anyone really wants to do anything right now. Both these teams, they need to play on this next objective, because this will dictate the pace of the game. I feel if CBT can get this Sejuani online with this Kaenic Rooker that she is building, you know, she herself is 3.2k down. That we did say this Trundle would have a massive set to plays. They're just going to walk in, and there goes that Subjugate. Never mind, it's not come on yet, but it's going to come down soon. But Detsy's already low. Detsy has to flash away and just going to get jumped on by Poppy top lane. The Morgana gets a glob to the face. Sejuani's getting chomped down by this Trundle, and it's a double kill. 5-0-5, 4k up for this Trundle alone. And we did talk about the fact you're not playing with your regular roster, and you're 3 bans down. It is a massively hard punishment to face. But at the same time, you know, Bushy, he got the counter pick into this Sejuani. And we talked about, you know, the risk of picking tanks if the Trundle is up. I know firsthand from my Skarner games. But letting this Trundle through is a massive risk. But they didn't really have much to do, so and they needed some kind of front line. The Mega Inferno Bomb will land onto 2. Mark will survive, but we see the right of the Arcane coming out here from the Zell. One will land, and it will be the Comet that will take the Caitlyn down. We do see the case from Veigar to try and protect his life. I'm surprised they're not turning their attention towards Baron, because not only is the main damage and the only champion that really had a significant lead at any point in this game, and the champion that will be key to any success from CBT is down. They are just deciding instead, we see the Frozen Tundra coming out there from the Trundle to try and get a bit more attack speed and movement speed looking on this tower. The Redemption coming out from the side of Meepers, and this, you know, we talk about if it goes over a certain point, it's hard to come back. 6.6 is a lot. Detsy's already burning down. Loomis has taken a lot of damage from Trundle and Puppy as well, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them. Fax will live, but will die eventually to Bushy. And it looks like they're just going to march back to the base. Take the resets, take the lumps, as we're 3 minutes from the Dragon Soul. But I wonder if we'll get that far, because right now this is a massive 7.3k gold lead in favor of the Meepers. And yeah, look at, oh my god, that damage is insane from the ZGP, considering how far behind this team is. The problem is the rest of the team just cannot get in on the action. you know, obviously Sejuani is low damage at the best of times. The Veigar's having no impact. Caitlyn is not able to play these fights because, rightfully so, Meepers have identified her as the danger and the threat to them, and Morgana is actually the second most. As we see Pluma will get that ward there in the jungle. As the warm hugs will just bounce away. And Meepers say, nah, we don't need a Baron. We're just going to walk right mid lane here. Bushy will land the Frozen Tundra and the Pella onto the Caitlyn. Mark's already done half out with a super mega inferno bomb from downtown. Will pick up the kill as Detsy will just get chomped by the Trundle. Kronos should be the next to fall. The Pug is down. I repeat, the Pug is alive. GP will fall. The Pug eventually gets put down. And it looks like Loomis will be the next to fall. He's going to get a gooey blob right on his head. Sejuani will finally pick up the Bramble Vest, but I don't think it's enough. 20 kills to 3 in this first game. And it looks like an absolute stomp in the end from Meepers. Another Super Mega Inferno Bomb comes down to clear that wave. And they just want to send us straight to game number 2. And yeah, Aaron, that was a lot more one-sided than I thought we were going to see. And yeah, Meepers win game number 1.
I was not expecting it to be that one-sided, but
thing is, for the first half, it was quite close. Like,
yeah,
you know, the side of CBT, they kept themselves in there. The problem is, and we addressed it in the draft, this Trundle had so much to do with the win and had so much value with the Sejuani. The fact he could subjugate, and yeah, I mean, the damage there from GP is huge, but look at that gold lead. That just went up and up and up after that early game. But Aaron, I think we should take a short break because I'm sure these teams are keen to get on with game number 2.
Yeah, oh, just give me a second. You need to wait for the graphics update before I can actually do that. Otherwise, people just be saying 0-0.
Imagine that.
So confused. There we go. All right, we can cut to a break now. We will be back in 5 minutes to bring game 2 of this losers semi-final. Don't go anywhere.
See you soon. Thank God I'm
camera.
saved.
Hello there.
I'm saved.
It's time. And once again, we are here with the MiniLCS Summer Invitational 2026. I was about to say 2025 there for a second. I might be living in the past, but unfortunately, after just having my booty cheeks clapped once again in Hard Stuck Losers round 3 there, shout out Team Win for letting me sub for them for game 1, but game 2 they got their main jungler back, so we will see maybe if that gets a restream tomorrow, who knows. We are here for what is Last Chance Saloon for Corn and Ball Torture.
Yeah.
So Tuba, talk to me about game 1. What happened?
Oh, we're going straight to draft. But I can tell you, it was absolute chaos. Yeah, I know. No rest for the wicked there, Jack. And we are going to see the Soraka get picked. But yeah, game 1, they picked Trundle into Sejuani.
Okay, yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, and there was no other front line apart from a GP.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I thought that obviously Fax's GP is his best champion. We've seen him play it several times, so you know, I'm not.
I mean, he did
had
so
good damage
much
out
work. Yeah, he had most damage, but we are seeing a change in role as well, because we are seeing Kronos go towards the top lane. Loomis is now in the jungle, and Fax is going mid lane, and we see that Ezreal's Seraphim.
Really like that change here for corn and ball therapy. So the idea is, right, they know that Loomis is historically in their team been probably their best player, right? I think that him on role on a carry jungler, he has been putting in the work and has dragged this team past the finish line several times on certain junglers like Viego. You know, we've seen it like Lilia, for example, you know, Kayn occasionally, but it's usually banned against him. And in the top lane matchup specifically, Faxes has been really hit or miss. Like sometimes he pops off and he has a game like that game just there where he's got the highest damage on his team. Obviously it was not enough to actually change the course of the game. But they know, stylistically speaking, Meepa win through mid jungle, right? So what CVT have done here is they've taken their best 2 players, their mid and their top, their jungler and their top, and they've moved. Obviously, Andy isn't here, or Elo Insurgent isn't here, so they've had Kronos come in, luckily as an E sub, to make sure they don't have to forfeit the whole thing, because nobody wants to see a top 4 game be won by default, right? Like that's just so boring. So, you know, God bless Kronos being here, but they've now put him up in top where he's up against Puppy top laner, who has been one of the weaker players for Meepa. She plays loads of wacky stuff. She tends to usually get beaten in lane, and then in team fights is where she kind of finds her play. So they're like, look, you're probably not going to pick a carry top. Let's send our weak emergency sub player here, because he is, you know, he's only, I think, silver 2. So he's less points than even Andy is.
Gold 2, it looks like.
Is it gold 2?
That may be flex. I'm just going to double check. I think I did see. Yeah, flex gold 2, but silver 3. Silver 3, 20 wins.
Yeah. So I knew he was barely legal to play, and he was like silver something when they asked to let him play. So yeah, I think that I like the adaptation, and now the eyes are really going to be on whether or not Fax can adapt to mid lane up against Llama Knight, who for my money has been the best mid laner in Weenie Hut. He has been really good. Like I will be very candid, right? I had 0 expectations for the Meepa lineup outside of Bushy. I knew nobody on their team, and obviously I know that Bushy is very mechanically gifted, but he's also someone who likes to play random shit and try to make it work instead of playing meta, right? So, and I knew his ethos for the team when he built it was, we're going to play what we want to play and we're going to have fun. So knowing that, I assumed they wouldn't perform well at all. And they have done, contrary to my expectations, ridiculously well. They topped their group. They made it to, winners semis, right? And then they lost to Rift Raiders, which is unfortunate. They're now running the losers bracket here. And every single time, you know, like they 2-0'd 3 Poros, 2 Snacks, literally last week, who was the first seed group of Group A, a team of Group A. They've looked really, really good. But that's not to say Corn and Ball Therapy have not done their own little miracle run here, because if you'll probably cast your mind back to group stages where they were 0-3 and everyone was like, it's kind of a foregone conclusion, this team's out, right? Like this team's cooked. And then they went on win after win after win after win to get to the same point where Meepa got eliminated in playoffs. So, you know, both teams have looked real good.
Yeah, no, I definitely think, you know, CBT, they've definitely shown up. You know, it proves that this whole tournament, anything and often does happen. You know, they had a horrific start. They came against some really strong opposition. We did say, you know, there was a lot more strength and depth in the side of this side of the bracket. Obviously, this isn't the first time these two sides have faced off. But I will say, in this game 2 draft, I love the adaptations from CBT. Much more standard. You've got the Siobhan and the Shen on the front line. The LeBlanc to come and blow up the Twitch, Soraka, or whoever she pleases. And then Ezreal and Seraphine to play these team fights. It is Weenie Hut, you're gonna get team fights. The previous draft was wanting to scale, whereas you look at Meepers this time, yes, this Olaf will run at you, but you've got, you know, apart from that, then best in the jungle. I've seen Bushy, he landed all his ults last night on the Submessa, so hopefully for him, he can keep that going. But you were talking about, obviously, Puppy top laner being the weakest, and they've put her on a carry in the Olaf. Although, you know, with the Twitch and Swain as well, it's not as if they're shy of carries. So I think if this Ezreal Seraphine can get a comfy lane, I do think Mark's going to have a lot more value than he did in previous, because he does have some support this time. He has a Shen out on his head. He has a Shyvana to fear everyone up. I genuinely think they're going to have a lot more luck than they did in game 1.
Yeah, I think, all right, so if let's break down the draft a little bit and see how we feel about individual lanes, and then we can kind of put that through the lens of the players and see how we feel. So if I'm looking at top, I think that, I mean, Chronos is an unknown. All I can say is he's had one game, and in that game he performed poorly. It was on the Sedge in jungle. I'm unsure what his main role is. If it is jungle, I assume it is, because they moved him out of jungle. But, you know, Shen is a fairly safe champion. It's a champion you can lose kind of confidently on, you know, like he's not something that needs to dumpster the enemy to be good. But what I will say is that it is still kind of a hard lane into Olaf. So I think Puppy top laner is going to have an easy time in this game of at least getting to the point where she will have items, have gold, be able to maybe make angles onto their backline. But here's the important thing, their backline is really mobile. So Olaf can get onto them all he wants. We have Arcane Shift, we have LeBlanc W, you know, like there's so much ways for these champions to kind of maneuver away from him alongside their flashes. I mean, yeah, he could pop Ragnarok and run, but can he stick to the target? It's going to be challenging. They're really going to need to layer CC here. They're going to need to layer the Swain pullback. They're going to need to layer public execution to lock someone down for long enough for Olaf to be able to get on top of them. And that is a thing I think that Meepa's draft currently lacks. They lack major engage tools. They have public execution, and that is it. Everything else is just press buttons and run at them. Like, pray and pray, like, well, you're praying for the Soraka route is not going to work, right?
No. And I think, you know, with the Seraphine as well, okay, you know, you might not be able to, if the Ragnarok is out, yeah, you might not be able to hit the Olaf, but you're going to get a great launch pad to land onto every single other one of these. And then you get the Dragon's Descent on top. The tools are there for CBT. It may not be the Misfortune, Seraphine, the, you know, the Bullet Time Encore, as we call it, but it's a near enough. You know, this Dragon's Descent, you know, it wants people grouped up. That's exactly what this Seraphine will try and do. And when you've got this Shen to kind of give that layer of support to this Ezreal, you know, if they do manage to get onto him, he just needs to press the Stand United. And then next thing you know, this Ezreal's pounding a lot of damage. And Mark had a really strong early game last time. You know, we can't discount that. Yes, he didn't have the effect in the late game, but that was, I think, more of a draft diff than a player diff. Yeah, you know, there was nobody really to be able to work with him.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Mark is one of the best AD carries in the bracket.
Oh no, definitely.
But I think he's one of the best AD carries at his point value. I think actually, straight up, he is the best 4-point AD carry, which, you know, that in some ways is more valuable, right? Because, you know, you don't want to be the best person when you're costing the most, right? Like if you're costing the most, you want to be the most value for money, right? Unless you're like a cut above all the other 5-point players as a 5-point player. And so yeah, I think that Mark has done wonders in that AD carry role. You know, he's very aggressive. I know because I talked to their coach Chris, and he has expressly complained to me about the fact that Mark will build collector on every AD carry because despite he doesn't think it's good, he just thinks it's like his comfort item, and obviously collector is a very aggressively coded item, so it speaks to how Mark wants to play the game. And I think that Ezreal has that level of safety built into him with the arcane shift that allows him to kind of play forward and then be able to pull back, right? He's going to have some extra healing from Seraphine. He's going to have some extra shielding. He's going to have a little bit extra poke as well. This Ezreal Seraphine lane heavily outpokes Twitch Soraka.
Oh, definitely.
The only thing I worry about is team fights. They don't have a way to kill tanks, and there are 3 beefy boys with a Soraka on Meepa. I think there's a world where if this game is equal at 20 minutes, if CBT don't build a lead for themselves in 20 minutes, they cannot win team fights because Swain is immortal.
So what I want to see Seraphine do here is the Oblivion Orb is a key early purchase here, especially against the Soraka, the Olaf, and the Swain. You need to see that come out relatively early. Maybe not first item, but that component needs to be there sooner rather than later, especially when they start fighting. We also need to see the Shyvana, whether it be a Kraken, a Bork, she needs to go a more AD focused build here. Leandries is nice, Riftmaker is nice. I just think she's going to get so much more value being able to chomp down and use that passive. And yeah, I just think, you know, they do have tools if it's built correctly. If they go a standard build of we're going to go heal Seraphine, we're going to go, you know, AP Shyvana, or we're going to go, we see a lot of Trinity Force, which is not bad, or Dusk and Dawn. I just think there's going to be a lot to be desired in that sense. You need something to burn through these tanks. It's not going to be LeBlanc, it's not going to be Shen. Ezreal's going to have a real tough time. It is doable, but it's going to take a hell of a long time. You need the Shyvana and the Seraphine to be working together. And they're going to be key if CBT are going to take us to 3 games.
No, 100%. My eyes are really going to be locked in on whether or not Loomis can do something in this game. Obviously, we know that Bushy is the captain of Meepa. He's been one of the better junglers in the tournament thus far. But so has Loomis. Like, Loomis, in my opinion, is one of the main factors in why Cornball Torture went from being 0-3 to being where they are.
Yeah.
You know, I think that he's done a stellar job on that roster, and we're going to have to see what he can do on what is arguably, I think, top 2 junglers on this patch at the moment. Obviously, with Nasus being nerfed in the jungle, he has fallen out of favor a little bit. So I think it's now really just you have Shyvana, who's gone up. Nocturne is obviously really strong at the moment. I
love Shyvana. I love Shyvana on this current patch. Like, ever since the rework, you know, she was in a weird spot. But the fact they've now managed to get her to a state where she can actually influence the game, she can have a massive say, it just feels so nice to play her again. And in these team fights, she is really strong. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see what we're going to get. I do know we're getting to game soon.
Yeah.
So this will be exciting.
One person, again, I also want to look at here a little bit, because I think they have a Herculean job in front of them, is the LeBlanc. Realistically, there's 60% of the enemy team she cannot kill, right? Unless she gets monstrously ahead, she shouldn't be able to kill Ambessa, Swain, or Olaf, especially with the fact there's a Soraka in the team. So she's kind of going to really have to play this foil type kind of, you know, position where her job is not going to be in the 5v5 and be, you know, distributing damage in like a lane fight.
She's got one job, and that's to blow up the ADC.
Yeah, she got to blow up Twitch, she got to blow up Soraka. They're the only targets she can kill. And especially if she can kill Soraka, if Soraka's enabling Swain and Olaf and Ambessa to keep fighting for, like, you know, dozens of seconds through healing, that can be the difference. And it will allow the Shyvana, it will allow the Ezreal to finally maybe kill them. But it will all depend on who gets the lead first. So without further ado, it's time to get into games.
End it. Now, while we wait for this game to start, we kind of touched on it earlier about how Mark is high value. Who do you think's been the most high value player across the whole Weenie Hut division? Because you've seen a lot of these games. Who do you think has been the best value for money?
Player. That is a good question. I think that Midnight Siren has done really well. You got to think she's coming in as a bronze player. Her team's in grand finals, and her and Saiyan Sky have won almost every bot lane they've played. So I think I think that's definitely a high value option there. You know, again, when you think of like, oh, who's the most value for their money, you're looking at like gold players or like silver players, being like, did they play like plats? But you know, sometimes having a bronze player that plays like a gold player is equally as valuable, right? Because you're still getting that kind of hidden value there. I think that, not that we got to see him too much, but Zoxy seemed decent in Babes as well, who was also a bronze player who climbed real hard. If we're talking about players in this game specifically, I have to shout out, I think Disco Fisk has done really well. He plays some of the most obscure bot laners I have ever seen, and especially on the GP bot, for a like a mid-silver player, he is winning bot lanes against really good AD carries. Like, you know, we've seen him come out with like 9-0 and 11-2 scorelines on this GP AD carry against, you know, teams that realistically they should have been beating. Yeah, that is a rough chunk.
I mean, we were talking earlier about how LeBlanc will struggle to kill. Late game she'll struggle to kill, but right now she's got a decent amount of pressure there in this mid lane, whereas as we predicted, the Shen is being pushed right in on the tower by this Olaf. Bot lane again, starting off like it did in the previous game. The poke lane from CBT is coming through there with this Ezreal.
The thing I will say is this season mana bar is real low right now, so she's gonna have to probably rein in some of the poke here, because unless she wants to take an early base after they shove the waves in, right? You know, as it stands right now, yeah, she's got one more ability in her right now before she's going to be basically an auto attack bot, and there we go, we see it used. But look at the health bars on the blue side. They are very happy to see that is a manaless Seraphine, and nice trade here in mid-lane though.
Onto Laminate.
Unfortunately, took the trade straight into the wave. Yeah, it has to flash away. And I think overall, I still favor the Swain in this matchup. I agree with you when you said that LeBlanc does have, she's got kill pressure, but we're going to have to see them actually manifest something out of that. And we're going to see the early base come out here. She's also got Ignite up against TP, right? So the onus is on Fax to get kills in this lane, because if he doesn't, he's missing tempo every time he takes a base and he matches Lamanite. Like, Lamanite hits the TP button, gets back, misses 0 minions, crashes the wave, and by the time LeBlanc is actually in lane, she misses, you know, let's say 2-3 minions. And every time that happens, that's XP, that's gold, that's, you know, that's a lead that Lamanite is going to be getting.
We do see Shyvana, hold that thought, we do see Shyvana posturing to maybe try something if they overstep, but they're not going to do it. They're just going to get a reset there. Meanwhile, Kronos still taking a lot of damage in this top lane, as Mbessa will just match the Scuttle. So we're Scuttle apiece there in the jungle, with a slight tempo lead for the Mbessa.
Yeah, I mean, it looks as though Shyvana actually skipped a camp, because she's only on 24. So yeah, I'm not too sure which camp it was that Shyvana has skipped here, but, or actually no, in fact it isn't a skipped camp. It looks like Bushy actually took a camp from what I can see, because Bushy is going back down to the Krugs there. So I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's a little bit of a lead. We can see, I don't like the Sheen first buy for the Shyvana. Almost all Triforce users in the jungle or elsewhere, to be honest, apart from like Ezreal, I think, you would much rather just the raw stats that you can get from 2 longswords and a dagger. You know, you do your full clear, you have 1.1k or 900 to 1.1k depending on how many camps you cleared, and you know, you can either get 3 longswords if you've got that 1.1k, or 2 longswords dagger. It's just so much more damage generally than the Sheen, because it benefits on everyone.
Yeah, we do see the high dose, and they're just pushing away this bot lane. You know, it was last game as well. You know, there was this massive CS lead for the ADC on CBT, but We did see pings in the jungle looking towards the dragon, as we do see the Ambessa in mid here. She's going to look to try and spot out the Shyvana.
Yeah, we've got a lot of movement here in this bot side, as we can see.
Something's going to go down here.
Oh, yeah.
Ambessa does show mid going in on this LeBlanc. A lot of damage done onto LeBlanc, but she doesn't quite get the kill. We see the ultimate come out there from LeBlanc, doesn't do enough, and now the death ball decides to move up for CBT. They don't decide to push forward, but what they do get for their troubles, they will get first dragon by the looks of it, uncontested.
Yeah, they took a little bit too long on this though. I'm not super happy with how that's gone, because they've allowed the blue side to crash that wave bot, which means that now Ezreal and Seraphine will be losing a little bit of XP there, a little bit of tempo. They do get it, although Lamanite tries to steal something away, but nothing really there to get. And yeah,
it was a 56 millisecond smite. It was never in doubt. You know, very comfortable. Nice secured smite there. No risk there on a steal.
No, I mean without the Ambessa being there was never going to be a threat. But
yeah,
as the resets have come in.
The good thing is it will buy the Shyvana a bit of time to scale. You know, we saw last time. You know, the game was over rather quickly. But this time the Shyvana, she will only get stronger as she goes with the scale mail as well. As we see the beat drop will land onto Disco Fisk. She's taking a lot of damage. Again, low on mana. We do see the double tier in the bot lane, which I do like.
Oh, yeah, double tier is a wise choice here. I think that especially if you're going to play Seraphine as Ditzy is playing her, you really want that mana regen and that extra mana just in total, right? So we'll assume, I imagine that the tier on her is going to go into Diadem, right? At some point. I don't think it's her first item, but I imagine that's what it goes into.
No, I agree. To be fair, I would leave it as a late item, because if you need, if she's building this correctly with the anti-heal, like, you're gonna delay your first spike. I personally love a mandate, even in this comp, because you're playing on team fights, you're playing around that. The mandate build is, and look, she's listening! Ditsy! Good shit, good fucking shit. That is a massive, massive item for CBT, and that's how they need to play this game.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. If they're intending to take these 5v5s, if they're in the even 3v3s, 4v4s, and 5v5s, Seraphine is one of the best distributors of anti-heal. You know, all of her abilities are AoE. You know, she's more than happy to just spread the love when it comes to the grievous wounds. And we're gonna see it. It looks like Meeper are gonna start this the grubs here.
Shyvana is gonna go on with the Dragon Descent, and she will pick up the grub. Shyvana does get the first one with the public execution does come out, but it's the Ambessa that executed. We do see the Ezreal come up through downtown, but it's a big win there for CBT, and that all started from the Dragon Descent over the wall.
Yeah, no, I mean, what needs to be said, because it wasn't actually seen at the time. It was a combo. It was Dragon's Descent alongside Stand United, because I didn't notice that Shen was there until it was already first blood, and I was like, oh shit, because
LeBlanc's going in for more, doesn't quite get it.
No, nothing is going to
get out.
They action the dive, even though Ragnarok is up, so they can't dive. Even if they wanted to, they can't dive, because the only way they could actually action the dive is through taunt. And you cannot taunt him with Ragnarok up. He will just take the fight, although hold up. We see...
Yeah, Kronos will block the damage. He will get away, though.
Bad trade for Olaf there in that one, but maybe that's a visual bug. Maybe Ragnarok is not.
No, it is down. It is down. I've got it on mine. It's still up.
Yeah, so it's a visual bug, yeah. So yeah, really nice play here from Corn and Ball Torture. They bring in the Stand United alongside the Dragon's Descent, turn now 1v2 into a quick 2v2, and immediately we see, Ragnarok, Flash, and Ghost have to be burnt by Puppey to get herself to safety. But yeah, these are the kinds of coordinated plays we want to see from Corn and Ball Torture if they're going to try and drag this one to a game 3.
I mean, they've got the tools. You know, this Shyvana is a champion that, as we said earlier, is one of the strongest on this patch. You know, she's been strongest for a while. she just loves to fight, and with this combat, as we see Pluma get jumped on by this LeBlanc, doesn't quite have anywhere enough damage, as the public execution will come out. The spray and pray comes as well. Shyvana is here with the Dragon's Descent, but doesn't quite do anything at the moment. Bushi is low, but now she's in the middle of a Meeper sandwich, and the Shyvana will just go down to the Twitch. And the big thing there, not only is that a double kill onto Disco Frisk, but look at the timers for the objectives. You know, that's 15 seconds down on Shyvana. And yes, Meeper are going to have to deal with this pushed in wave on bot. But now this Ambessa will get a chance to reset, get that Eclipse and go out. I don't like the Trinity Force, the Triforce on the Shyvana, I will say. We addressed it earlier. It's not a bad item. I just think you need something more than that.
What would you suggest instead?
I think Dusk and Dawn would have been the better shout, because you get, not only do you get the accelerated proc on your passives, it gives you health back, and it will enable you to play more around a Bork or something. As we see Laminite and Fax fighting, the clone will come out and they will just get the kill. Never mind, I thought he was going to get away there, as this bot lane tower is burning down. But Disco Fist will set a sight on the Seraph, and the Onco will come out. The beat drop lands as well, and Mark is putting a lot of damage as the execute will fall onto the exhaust will fall onto the Twitch, but it's not enough. As we do see Mark looking to see if he can pick up something onto Bushi here. Doesn't quite have the public execution back up yet. And in the end, it's a dragon and a kill over to Meepers. The CBT lose their gold lead, and let's see if they can right the ship. But there's a long way to go with this.
It's only a few hundred gold right now. I don't think it's like too bad, but what I will say is that the coordination here in this one has been a bit of a mess. Like, I think that Loomis took that fight there in the same kind of aggressive tone that would assume Stand United was back up, but it wasn't. You know, we gotta respect that Stand United is a 3-minute cooldown right now. And so, you know, we can't play like he can join every team fight, or like when he fundamentally just can't, you know? Not yet, anyway. Give it time. Once he gets rank 2 and rank 3 in the ultimate, then he'll be a little bit more kind of trigger happy on that one. But for now, we look at everything when all is said and done. Both top laners, there's about 600 gold lead here for the Olaf. We see Spray and Pray comes out there. Cool, Mark a little unaware, but the Arcane Shift just goes, you know, gets himself to safety, so there's no problem. And despite the 2 kills onto the Twitch, because of all of the aggressive play, the aggressive play from the bot lane here, Mark and Ditzy actually are up because of the fact that they've gotten all these plates, right? Like they've been shoving the wave in so much that they've gotten almost every plate on that bot lane. The T1 is almost dead, and they will probably be the guys to collect first turret gold in this game as well if things continue this way.
Do you see Shyvana looking to contest this blue buff here? But looks like she's just going to decide against... No, I don't. But Ditzy was in the area, so was LeBlanc, but they just walked away at the wrong moment.
No, it was I think a little bit too aggressive, but nothing comes of it, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, no harm, no foul.
Yeah, if we just cast our mind back to the first items here, I want to have a look real quick, because Mark has just finished his Triforce, which is a massive health spike. Oh, Shyvana's here on the top side with Shen. The Ragnarok, I believe, is being casted, but it doesn't really matter. He's just gonna walk away, even with the taunt. Flash for flash is equal trade in the top lane, really. Not much else to be said about it, I think. You know, we see... Yeah. Well, to be fair, Ghost was burnt for Puppey as well, so that's something. And also, it's going to give Kronos some time here to be able to catch the wave. You know, he's 1k down right now. He's about 30 CS down as well.
Now we see this tower falling, but the public execution will land onto the Ezreal. You know, they walked right into a trap there. They knew that tower was low, and they knew they wanted to make a play. They didn't have vision on that try, and Seraphim will be the first of all here, as we see Kronos taking a lot of damage from Puppey. Puppey finally actually pops the ultimate, and will she get the kill?
Oh, she might die here. Very close to death there. There's one tire shot.
It's an Olaf. They want to go to Ragnarok. They want to go. They're gonna die. They're gonna die a glorious death, and he doesn't die this time though.
Really under. really undervalued there the healing that comes from the Olaf. You know, he has his Gluttonous Greaves as well. So although it does show the image for Immortal Path right now, but that is physically impossible. So it is Gluttonous Greaves that he's got right now. So that's a little blue ball bug right there. And again, 1.6k right now. I know for a fact Bushy's probably like super happy because of the fact that, you know, this is maybe one of the first series that he's seen Poppy get a lead in this top lane. And
it's not even a small lead, it's a 1.6k lead here.
Yeah, the Olaf can take this game over. And yeah, one thing I need to say as well that I think Meeper have done really well throughout the entire tournament is the level of macro they've had in Weenie Hut has been really good. Like, it's one of the ways that they've made up for some of the shortcomings of their laners, is just having really good macro, like, you know, knowing the enemy team were going to go for that first turret and being like, yeah, cool, Bushy's going to position to make sure he left camps up so that he could be there, so that when they aggressed, that he would be ready to make the counter. And that's just some stuff we haven't seen from players in Weenie Hut. People don't sack camps. People will, you know, they play the game as by the book as they can, or as crazy.
Yeah.
There's no in between. And yeah, I think it's been massively to Meeper's benefit that they have been able to play the game cleanly.
Yeah, we are going to see Shelly be pulled out in this mid lane, looking to use a wee bit of Battle Herald here. As we do see Llama go a bit wonky there. Does pick up Mark on the way through, but it's not enough to claim that tower. Shelly will fall as the beat drop does go wide, although I'm pretty sure she landed. As Fax goes into the middle of the 3, doesn't get much from it as Llama Knight lose to get the pullback onto Mark. Mark doesn't quite have the arcane shift to get away, but they're just going to turn their attention to the Stragon. And Puppy top laner is left to try and pick up the pieces. I don't understand why they've committed 5 here. I get it's second dragon and I get it's nice. But even with this, Puppy top laner, you know, you're given so much in this mid lane. And one thing I don't think people give enough credit for is Shyvana is actually really quick at taking turrets. As we back in the back line, Puma will fall! As we see Mark has the arcane shift to try and get through. But yeah, Shyvana I found is one of the best turret takers in the jungle. You know, Trundle normally gets that right, but recently it has been, you know, especially with that Q passive on Shyvana, there's so much. As with the Onko will land onto Swain, but nothing much more as Mark's trying to do anything he can with the light binding. And they will just back away. But it's a tower in return, as we do see Twitch should just take one on this bot side here. Again, uncontested, because they were all mid lane after that fight. And yeah, gold league wise, 2.4k, starting to snowball.
There's a couple things to break down in that, and well, I mean, we just see the Twitch flash get burnt there as Fax is making a lot of good work here. I don't like that taunt angle, but we do see obviously Loomis is here, so even though the Ragnarok was burnt, we're going to be trading a life total for a turret there. It's not too bad. Loomis gets the shutdown. I don't know how
Twitch is alive. I do not know how Twitch is alive.
Yeah, he sneaked out. I mean, maybe we'll get a replay on exactly how he great escaped that one.
I was hiding. He definitely was hiding.
Yeah, exactly.
We do see the pings, pings in the chat. Llama must have saw the flash, so it must have been a hell of a flash play to get away there.
Yeah, no. But if we just talk back to the mid lane play that happened about a minute ago, you know, we said earlier in the game that, you know, that Fax's job in this game is going to be purely to kill Soraka and to kill this Twitch. If he cannot do that, then it's going to be really hard for his team to take 5v5s. So seeing him being able to go under turret there, obviously with the R for a second use of his W, was able to actually just pop Pluma from underneath our own turret. These are the kind of things we need to see from them. Obviously the lane didn't go the way he wanted. He's down 700 gold. He's died twice to the Swain, but gonna see an overcommit here of 3 members onto the Shen, but Shen is gonna be able to walk away. There isn't anything to play for on this top side just yet. 35 seconds away is the Baron, so I don't think they tried to do it on spawn, and I really like the adaptation from Corn and Ball Therapy here to get themselves the push straight into the mid tier 2, get a plate for their troubles, and then fall back as Meeper do want to collapse, but just make sure there's nothing for them to collapse onto. We've got 3 in the jungle here. Abessa is
I don't like this. It's a three-way flank here from Bushy, Puppet and Lamel. They take a time, but meanwhile Ditsy will just fall to the spray and pray. And with 2 minutes to Dragon, you don't really get much. I don't think they can quite take the Baron as of yet, because Shyvana is still up and does have that ultimate ready to go. So it's a nice kill. You'll take it. You maybe get some pressure on this mid tier 1, sorry. But I don't think you can get much more from that kill, but it's a good kill nonetheless.
Yeah, with Twitch being there, they should collect that tier 1 mid, which is a pivotal turret to kill when it comes to trying to gain extra vision, right? Like the amount of air, the amount of vision that your tier 1 mid gives you, you know, and the idea that you now have to pay money to cover that space with wards going forward is, yeah, it is very detrimental. So, but they didn't actually get it. They didn't want to commit. They didn't know where everybody was on the map, so they decided to fall back on it, and they'll probably try to get it in the next wave if they can. But with Mark here to defend, it is going to be difficult. So
now, you know, I was praising Ditsy's build earlier, but I have a very love-hate relationship with this item, the
Echoes of Helia.
The Echoes of Helia. It's a lot better than it used to be, do not get me wrong. If you're playing Seraphine, there's so many better items you can pick. You want a team fight heal? You go Moonstone. Imperial Mandate right now, especially in these team fighty comps, you get so much value. It's basically a free PTA. And you get reduced cooldowns on your ultimate and your E. Those two items alone, I think, have a lot more benefit, even if you are going the Diadem build. But we need to see how it turns out, as we see a lot of posturing here in the mid lane, as Disco Fisk is all alone here, as we are going to see Fax go on and get a nice chunk down onto Disco Fisk. The root lands, and that's just a dead rat in the mid lane. And now Seraphine gets behind this Ambessa. Yeah, Seraphine is in a weird position, but Bushi can't punish, and Pluma dodges the Encore somehow, but it doesn't matter because she just gets blown up by Fax. And it is Fax that, you know, this Lara Knight will have to go golden on this Swain. The healing is not enough. And even with Mark on a blinking health bar, Kronos will come in with a stand united. The thumbs up on Rammus comes out as Poppy top lane is trying to pick up the pieces. Mark isn't here, but the blink comes through, and now Poppy's running for her life as the beat drop will land, and it will be an ace and a triple kill for this LeBlanc.
All right, there was a lot of stuff that needs to be broken down in that play right there. Okay, so first things first. Disco Fisk being caught on the mid wave on his own. Really big, like, macro blunder by Meepa there. Very uncharacteristic of them, but it happened, so we're gonna just accept what it was. Attempt there from the Twitch. Twitch might get caught again. He went for the steal with spray and pray, and that was just not the one. But yeah, so here's how it starts. He doesn't respect the fact that there are several members of CBT around. They are able to get an easy shutdown here, and it is a second before Drake. But look at the positioning from Meepa. They thought they were going for the collapse, right? They thought three of us are going to come down on these guys chasing the Twitch, but then it's actually a 4v3. And now in comes Swain, but he immediately gets hit with the anti-heal because he eats a Q from the Seraphine. And so now he's like, well, I can't even really heal. And now Mbessa's doing damage on the backline. But what can she do? And then now in comes Olaf after the fact. And again, we said this in draft, every one of their carries is super mobile. And like, yeah, LeBlanc there just styled on it. He's like, I could have dodged that with movement, but I'll just press W again and make sure you don't hit anything. Nearly dies for the arrogance there, but you know what? Considering he was 0-2 not but like 5 minutes ago, to be now 4-2, like some of these picks, some of the players from the LeBlanc, she has made so much space for the team, so much so much pick potential has come out of this LeBlanc with the 2 chains. It's been super clean.
Finally, the tier 1 falls in mid lane. But both teams are starting to group up here. As Poppy top lane, smells blood onto this Shen. He is full health, and there is a Shyvana in the area. Kronos will dash across the wall. He will survive for now. Doesn't burn any real summoners there. As it looks like we're going to get a fight at some point, because Shyvana's still hovering around this Olaf. And Mbessa down on the bot side. 3 minutes to Dragon. So still a lot to play. Shyvana looking to get the reset and doesn't pull it through.
No, chooses not to go for it here. which I don't blame. Like that, the power spike that Olaf is on right now with the Stride Breaker, Hex Plate, and the Gluttonous Greed.
I mean, she's on Vision. Talking of Vision, you know, they don't have Vision on Fax or Bushy, but never mind, Fax is just going to get hit by the Embessa chains into the bush, and now Fax has to use the passive clone, and Fax will survive. The Onko will hit too, but there's no follow-up for the Seraphine. They will pick up the Bushy on the backside. Meanwhile, Shyvana is looking for Puppy top laner. Shen has already went and joined with Stand United. Mark is low, but the heal is huge, and Mark will go down eventually. It is a 2 for 2 in the end, it looks like, as Kronos will manage to get back under the turret. A 2 for 2, but Dazer, who do you think that favours more?
Alright, so they kill, I think trading Bushy for Ditzy is value. I think that Disco Fisk for Mark is not so much. I don't think that one was as worth it. But what does need to be said, at least, is no shutdowns are on either side. So that's, you know, the shutdown goal, had there been any, because, you know, I think if CBT were a little bit more ahead than they currently are, there would have been a shutdown on the Ezreal, and that would have made the major difference here. But yeah, if we break down this play, Seraphine just don't have vision in the bush, and she doesn't respect the fact that even though we have seen these players in that area, she walks right in and gets caught by 3. But on the bright side, her being there distracts 3 people, meaning that Bushy commits so heavily that he just gets caught. And then yeah, in this instance, I think that killing Disco Fisk was good. But it sucks that they've burned so many resources to go forward for him that once they see Llama Knight, it's just like, well, what can we do? He presses ult and he walks us down. You know, it's such a challenging situation. And as we can see right now, 3-1 and 4 on the Swain. I do fear that we might be at critical mass now for this Swain. He might be at a situation where he can just walk into the enemy team and they might not have the tools to kill him. If they're targeting him and
Fax is going to face plant into this bush. Will bait him out with a clone, so at least he gets away. The life still survives on this LeBlanc. Doesn't have TP to get in the fight, and will be forced to back. We are 40 seconds away from this dragon, and remember, this is sole point for whoever gets this dragon. So it is a critical one. Both teams will want this Chemtech. So as we see Seraphine having to flash over the wall, Mark has to flash as well to survive. The spray and pray is down, so that's a big tool that they will not have. But what looks like we're going to get a fight, as it's 20 seconds now. Shyvana is here. She's answering. She does have that Fury prop. As Bushy will be on vision and will walk right into that wall. A lot of damage there onto Pluma. And Fax smells blood. The Dragons are sent over the top with the Encore. Bushy's on the backside fighting Loomis. Loomis should just get the kill. But Laminite is on a killing spree. Will kill the Ezreal, who did manage to pick up the Soraka. And now Laminite is in the middle of 3. Ditzy will walk away with her life, for now at least. Looking to go back in with a high note just to proc the anti-heal down. The beat drop will land as well, and Kronos is now on a killing spree on the Shen as Ditzy look at that shield from the Stand United. As Poppy top laner will go down, but not before she picks up Ditzy. And not only is that 4 for 3, but it's also sole point for CBT.
Yeah, I think that fight, I'm not going to sit here and say that either of those teams played that fight perfectly, because I think both had mistakes. But one thing there's 2 people I want to highlight in that one. I think that Ditzy did a really good, she got caught with her pants down at the beginning of the fight, and so she burns her flash really early. But once she's on that low health total, she knows for a fact that they need her anti-heal to be able to kind of play the fight. So she sticks around on like 10% HP. But Disco Fisk here, this play is so good. They just, you know, they focus so hard on trying to kill the Soraka that they forget that Twitch is there, and so he gets a free kill onto 2 people. And then yeah, from this point onwards, like I said, Seraphine realizes they're going to struggle to kill this way, and they're going to struggle to kill the Olaf, so she sticks around, is able to layer some CC onto the Olaf, make him burn Ragnarok. And then, you know, with the Stand United coming in as well, she does end up going down, but it's not too bad, as Shyvana is more than happy to pick up.
Shyvana's a champion.
Yeah, look at the damage total as well. Like I said earlier, Loomis, he is one of the primary carries for this team, and Shyvana is one of the best champions in the game to be a carry on right now. She's so consistent, right? Like, yes, she's kiteable, but she has Dragon's Descent, so if you can play around that effectively, it's hard to get away from her. Her Q3 in Dragon form does an insane amount of damage with PTA. Like, you pop tanks with it. It's one of the main reasons they've won 4v4 and 5v5 fights, is because they send Loomis on top, they get the Q3, and it pops onto the Swain, and you watch his health bar go from like 60 to like 20%. You know, you layer it with the Sheen proc as well, and you know, she's getting the Q3 so consistently with the Spear of Shojin as well. So it's just that's going to be a large portion of why she's the highest damage in the game right now. So, you know, I think they really need to do something about this Shyvana. And it can't be stated enough, by the way, that I think Shen has done a really good job outside of lane getting himself
Shen's having a mega game.
Yeah. If we compare from game one to this, he's, you know, it's night and day difference.
I think they've made the right decision putting Kronos in the top lane and moving Loomis into the jungle, because they both seem a lot more comfortable where they are. You know, Mark and Ditsy are playing a great game again. Both of them with slight leads. You know, they're not running away with the game by any means. You know, Trax seems back comfortable in the mid lane rather than up there on top. At least from that first game. But we've got to shout out this, you know, Shyvana. You know, again, Shyvana, Seraphine are my two mains at the moment, so it's lovely seeing them succeeding, at least so far. I mean, it's dead even, don't get me wrong. But as champions, you know, they've got such a great synergy. They work so well together. And yeah, Shyvana is in a busted state. Like, I'm surprised we don't see more in pro play. Right, like, I get why she never used to be, because of the fact that
the reason why she doesn't see play in pro play is because all of her stuff is incredibly telegraphed. Like, you know, as long as you have like a vision on her, essentially, like she's so easy to avoid, right? Like, you really need to be able to, like, it's kind of like why Fiddlesticks doesn't see play in pro play. Yeah. Because, like, as long as you can play around the Dragon's Descent, it's really hard for her to do anything. She can be kind of, you gotta think, a half decent AD carry can kind of glide away from the Shyvana unless they don't know where the Shyvana is. If she gets to do Dragon's Descent from hidden, then now she becomes a major problem. But in the kind of skirmishes and like really scrappy 5v5s that we might find in solo queue, for example, you know,
we see Loomis going onto Puppy top laner. Puppy hasn't popped the Ragnarok just yet. Shen is here. They don't quite get the taunt, so they're going to back away. Meanwhile, Bushi's looking for an angle here. Fax is going right in onto the switch. Disco Fix did a lot of damage, and it will be the Ezreal will help pick it up. It will be LeBlanc that gets the kill with Ignite, but that's a kill onto a key carry for the side of Meepers, and that could be big as we see Shyvana looking onto Poppy top laner. She's not finished, hasn't popped the Dragon Descent yet. Mark will eat an axe to the face of the public execution, will land in onto Bushy. But Loomis is holding this ultimate looking for the angle, looking for the layer, and there it goes down onto the Encore. We talked about it pre-game, and Stetsy will pick up the kill onto Olaf. The tower will fall in mid lane. And this could be CBT taking us to game 3, as it looks like Llama Knight is going to go down after the stasis. We said they might struggle to kill, but it doesn't really matter. The 5-0 in favour of CBT, who take a 5k gold lead. And Jack, we're going to 3.
Unlucky, Aaron. You gotta run another one, bro. It's going to game 3. They had to do it because the spray and pray's coming in. Hold up, though. Okay, never mind. There was nothing to be seen here.
He went hiding back to the fountain. Yeah, that was a game. That was 2 games, though. We've seen, though, that you know, most of the game is fairly even, fairly close, and then one team gets that one fight, and the game's over.
Yeah, no, I think the game was super close until that one fight, right? Until that last fight there, and yeah, you can see the damage and gold graph is they kind of tell you the tale of the series, or at least this game. Holy shit, that was a fat starter. You know, look at it. Like we were only ever 3k at most for the entirety of the game until that last fight, and then when the last fight happened, the gold lead just balloons. Like, they take one bad fight, and it was predicated on Bushy taking an engage on public execution onto, I think it was Mark. And you know, the enemy team were just ready to go. They were just out of vision, I guess. Like maybe he didn't see them or didn't know they were there. Went in with the public execution, and then immediately the cavalry came, and it was just, you know, the gap between Ambessa and the rest of Ambessa's team, caused by the long-range engage, meant that she got collapsed on.
Yeah, I just think it was a bit of a desperate play. You know, you've kind of you've struggled to kind of catch them. The whole game.
If they killed Mark, if they killed him, it would have been it would have been a different story. But you know, ifs and buts don't win video games. So it is gonna be the CBT win. They are bringing us to a game 3. It is the first game CBT have won against MIPA all season, because this is their second time facing them. They lost 0-2 to them in groups. Here they go, 4th time's the charm. They bring it to a match point, and we will see what happens after the break, boys. Stick around, and we will see you in 5 minutes. Time, everybody. I don't know what you guys have been watching for the last 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 29, 30, 31 seconds. But I'm ready for some game good.
Yeah, it's about getting good as we go into. Yeah, I mean, this is for all the marbles, right? You know, whoever wins this gets a rematch against Rift Raiders to go into that final.
Both teams have lost to Rift Raiders. You're not wrong. Yeah.
And the Rift Raiders are the only team remaining from the A side of the bracket. So they could make it a B side final.
Ignore me.
Yeah.
They didn't both lose to Rift Raiders, I don't think. Did they? Bracket me, bracket me, Aaron. Bracket me. Bring the bracket. Bring the trebuchets. Look at this fucking guy, bro. Slow guy. Volunteer, by the way.
Production, right?
Sorry. Had to do it to him. There we go.
Could be a delay to draft, just we're finding out.
No, they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't face. Yeah, this is what I thought. Yeah, so CBT they beat 3 Poros, 2 Snacks, 2-1. Then they lost to Holy Poro, who are in grand finals. So yeah, if CBT make it, this will be a fresh matchup, Rift Raiders and Cornerball Torture. If MIPA make it, it will be a rerun of Group A 2 seed and Group B 1 seed. So obviously they lost to them 2-0 last time they saw each other in quarterfinals. So we'll have to see. But oh, look at that. We in the draft. We made it.
Now, one thing you will notice is CBT do have bans because Andy has reappeared out of the abyss.
Yes, he has.
Where he was, but he's here.
Shit makes me laugh, bro. I swear to God, this guy, he was DMing me like 4 or 5 hours ago, being like, oh, I think Ditzy might not be able to play and we're gonna have to find an emergency sub. I really don't want to have to do it. And then he was AWOL at the beginning of the game. So, but it's nice that they have bans this time, so we can see they take away the Bard, they take away the Singe, they take away the Malphite. So those are bans on Llama Knight, Bushy, and technically a flex between all 3 of Puppy, Bushy, and Llama Knight on the Malphite, because I believe all 3 of them have played it. And if we look to the MIPA bans, I believe these are the same bans they've done in almost every game, right? Near enough. The Kane, at least I recognize from every draft, and we see Tristana is the B1 here for Cornerball Torture, so giving Mark a little bit of aggression here in the bot lane, a little bit of that level 2 all-in power threat, but MIPA are going to match him with what will almost certainly be the brand bot lane here for Disco Fist and a Galio.
I'm not convinced. I know Bushy
I need to get Michael jungle.
I know Bushy likes her AP jungle, so it could be brand jungle. I wonder if we'll get the world famous Teemo. I wonder if we will finally get world famous Teemo.
Yeah, I don't think he's played it all tournament. Let me bring up the League of
I think the last time he played it was against me.
Big show.
Years ago. In Fearless.
I can find out because thanks to the League of Sharp website. On the they left the Viego up. Okay.
Yeah,
Loomis is trying to put this one to bed. I am very excited to see the Viego. The only thing I'll say is picking Viego when Galio is in the game is a little rough because Galio W really makes it hard, right? Like you need to play around that shit because if you get caught by it, you will get focused and you will die, and then you don't get to reset. But we have seen Loomis play the Viego before to great success. He loved it. He loved the Teemo jungle for the game 3. He's cooking.
Let's
Aaron,
fucking go. He's speechless.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's cooked.
He's absolutely speechless.
He's gone. But yeah, let me bring up some statistics, guys. Give me a sec. Let's get Bushy up here. Let's have a look at what his stats are saying. Obviously, I don't think he's picked Teemo at all in this tournament. He hasn't played the brand either in this event. If we look at Cornerball Torture, let's have a look at Loomis and see what his win rate is on this Viego, because I know he's played it a few times. He has played it 3 games and he has 2 wins on it, and in all 3 of the games he has performed really well.
Viego is one of these characters that you can run away with a game.
Although I'm going to say that I already, just from the three picks that we have, they're making his life really hard. Because he's a champion, you know, he can build Wit's End, right, if he wants MR, but outside of that, it's like there's not a lot of MR items he really wants to build. He's going to probably just have to build his regular carry items, and he is an attack damage, you know, an auto attack based champion who will be hard cucked by blind, and he will be hard struck down by taunt. Like, those two particular CCs make it so hard for Viego to play. So I kind of like the Meep draft.
And that's something with, obviously, the fact you've got the Tristana as well. She's somebody that will be affected by that as well.
Yeah, both
so
you
need to see a lot of AP coming out for CBT. Kind of counter that, whereas Meepers needs AD. And they go Victor.
Yeah, well, when you go Victor mid, we really need some AD up in here right now. I don't know what Puppy can pick here that will be enough AD to kind of counterbalance this 4 AP draft you've got. But if you're corner ball therapy right now, surely you just slam a tank. Like, surely you slam any kind of like chunky tank top laner that can stack MR and just have a fun time. But they're going to take Diana in the mid lane for Elo Insurgent. And let's see what they take here for the top lane. They are blinding top, unless Galio is Galio top. They are blinding top here. Which, I mean, Galio should be top here, right? Unless it's support. I'm looking at this draft by Meeper, and I'm kind of blowing my mind. Surely they haven't left R5 for Bloomer. That would be diabolical. I think it's Galio support.
Has to be. Watch, we got bloody.
They're cooking. I don't know what they're cooking, but they're cooking, and my brain is cooked. I'm trying to see where they're going with this one, and I need to see some physical damage out of this last pick, and it can't be the support, because if it is, we're getting like Pike, Pantheon support maybe. We're taking Skarner. We have basically no AD on this Meeper draft right now.
Yeah, Tam is unkillable. I'm calling it now.
Yeah, if Tom is gonna build Kanik Rukan and Spirit Visage, and he's gonna be unkillable until at least one member of Meeper buys a what's the name of the AP Black Cleaver again? Bloodletters class.
Yeah, Bloodletters, and I think you have to also go. You have to go the tank magic item,
Leandri's.
No, the one where Amumu loves it.
That is Leandri.
Abyssal Mask.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Two completely different fight. I mean, Amumu does love it, Leandri, do not get me wrong.
Yeah. Every game we take Leandri's on the Amumu, but yeah. Abyssal Mask would not be a bad purchase here for the Skarner, I guess. No,
even
it's
the
got to be Skarner or Galio, they'll take it, but I really think if you pick Galio support, surely you pick it so you can get Mandate, right? Like, it's going to be a Mandate first.
Has to be Mandate.
Yeah, but I don't know who I prefer for these drafts. This is...
Because you've got a very auto-attack heavy comp in CBT, but you've got a no AD damage on a Meepers, but they've got blinds for CBT, but CBT, it just... If this is not a Weenie Hut Decider game, I don't know what is.
It's so messy.
It's something.
And I am very excited to see where people are gonna put their Stimo coins for this one, because the predictions are live, boys.
I do not.
I don't have a strong enough. You gotta put money where your mouth is. You gotta drop the coins. Who's winning? I just dropped. Whoa! Someone just dropped 8.8k. I only spent 800, and then it went up by $1 billion. So that was crazy. But we got 82% win rate right now for Meeper here. I was putting 800 on them just because I wanted to balance it out a little bit. I don't actually know who I think wins this game. I think if CBT win this game, it's going to be off the back of the Viego Diana. I think that, or it could be Trist. I'm not going to lie, Mark has had Disco Fisk's number in this series, right? I think he has played better than him. every single game. And Brand is a champion that doesn't have an escape tool. So someone like a Tristana who can jump on top of him with Rocket Jump, and don't forget, Rocket Jump does damage. You know, you hit that level 2 power spike, you're like W on Brand's head. Like, if he doesn't have flash, he probably just dies. Because it's like you W, you E, auto, pop the satchel. You get reset on W, you W again onto his head. Like, you know, for Brand, he would need to take the stun level 2. And he needs to land the stun, or else I think he dies. Or he needs Galio to protect him. He needs the Shield of Durand to protect him. Because if he doesn't have those, it's curtains at that level 2.
Kind of cooked.
And without losing your mana, Tristana should push way faster than Brand. They should get the push bot too. Yeah. So it'll be hard.
I mean, look at the predictions. I have dumped 5k on CBT. I think they do the upset.
Yeah.
I think they get the upset here, and that's not a slight on the side of CBT. They've played a fantastic series. Game 1 was a bit rough. Game 2, they came back fighting. But obviously coming into this, Meepers were the favourites, rightfully so after winning the group. You know, Con and Ball, CBT did come through, and they were one of the lower seeds in this bracket. You know, there's no getting away from that. And the fact that not only are they taking it to Meeper, they looked the better side in that last game. So I think it all comes down to, can Andy come in here at the 11th hour, the Hail Mary game, the only game that matters, and make the difference?
It's going to be an interesting one to see. Yeah, I agree. The narrative here for CBT is so much stronger. I think both teams have a really good story coming into this game, right? I think if we look at CBT, they got into playoffs on a technicality, right? Like they went 0-3 in the first 3 weeks. Everybody wrote them off because they were like, damn, they look like shit in every single game they played in those first 3 weeks. Like, no one was thinking they were going to take wins off of Dagestonian Death Squad. Nobody thought they were going to take wins off of Shadow Wizard Money Gang, because even though Shadow Wizard Money Gang were like equal in rank, equal in like point value to them and equal in scoreline to them, they had looked really competitive in their losses, whereas CBT had not looked competitive in their losses. But they turned it on around about week 3. You know, in week 4, when we had the 2 games in 1 week series, that was where they turned it on. They got their 2 wins, and they got really, well, not lucky. You know, it's not luck that they performed well and got themselves to this point, but it was fate that had it, that Volleybabes fell off of a fucking cliff and lost Estonian Death Squad and then Holy Poro in really poor fashion, which
I think to me that was the biggest. I think that to me was the biggest shock of this bracket. Is, you know, as much as I was gutted my team didn't get through. You know, it was close. Don't get me wrong, but the Volleybabes, they coming into this tournament, they were the team to beat. You know, everyone was hyping them up for reason.
Two rounds, well, you know, now it's the Ditzy diff, bro. Your team, if your team had Ditzy, maybe you'd be here. Sorry, I'm sorry.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, to be fair,
she was supposed to be support Fire and Brew, and then she bailed to be 80 carry on Corn and Ball Torture, and then they submitted their roster, and she was a support, and I was like, damn, bro, that's so fucking brutal.
I will say, Slender has. We were talking earlier about high value players. Slender to me has been one of the biggest high value players. Yes, we didn't have the success we wanted in the bot lane. We just couldn't quite get the synergy between him and Guma ticking over the way we wanted. We had some interesting plays across the map from everyone else, so it didn't quite go the way we wanted. We've already put plays in place for MiniLCS Winter, and I can tell you Slender's going to be part of that lineup.
Okay, damn, was prepped for 6 months in advance. I respect that.
Yeah. I mean, we are planning to enter some other. We are planning to enter some other tournaments in the meantime, because we're coming back with a vengeance. Because we built this team to contest, and we did. We took games off of pretty much everyone bar one team, I think.
Yes, I think the only team you guys got 2-0'd by, if I remember.
I don't think we even got 2-0'd.
I could go and check. Give me a sec.
I'm pretty sure we took games off everyone. The problem was we had a 0% win rate in game 3.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
That was rough.
If I look at the matches, you guys 2-1 loss against Wizard Ninjas, 2-1 loss against Snacks, 2-1 loss against Bigly Diff, 2-0 win against Riff Raiders. So yeah, you're right. You didn't lose a single game 2-0. In fact,
and even then, in these game threes, like it came down to late game flips in that game 3. You know, it's not as if they were stomps in game 3 at any point. I think we had maybe one stomp over game 3, but everything else had been extremely close. But unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles. You get some games where you're fighting there to the death and you get the flip. Other games like this, you don't. And that's the beauty of competition. But enough about Iron Brew. We have 2 teams that, you know, are fighting for their tournament lives, who have come through the ringer. Meep winning the bracket.
Makes top 3, you know?
Yeah.
Big thing.
One game away from the final, and I believe we've had a word from production. We're about to see the team who won the Rift. Now, I'm going to ask before we go in as well, is the Teemo bet still active?
That's like an entire season out of date. That was like summer of 25. We made that bet, and then no one actually made it in our tournament, and then I ended up having to fucking honor it in Fearless, which is a completely different fucking event. But you know, I'm not bitter about it or anything. Big shout out to Bushy, who's actually using the skin he fucking farmed from me in this game, which I respect, but also fuck you. But like, still, let's see what you can do on it. Let's have a look at these runes real quick. What's the situation? What are we looking at here? We got fairly bog standard on the blue side. Grasp of the Undying for Faxes makes a lot of sense. He's going to be looking to have short trades with Puppy. Conqueror for Loomis and Elo Insurgent. I actually kind of low-key would have preferred Electrocute on the Diana. Unless we're going for some kind of like cringe tank Diana mid, I think that your only chance of killing this Victor consistently will be through sheer damage. And if you're going to be building like Assassin Diana, then surely we want Electrocute. We want that extra damage to be able to finish him off because he is squishy. But Conqueror is not a bad choice by any means. And then bot lane is bog standard. We've got Summon Airy on Ditzy, and we have Lethal Tempo on Mark, so those make a lot of sense. Talk me through the red side ones though, because they are a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the comment on Skarner, that's a decision. Obviously looking for the poke with the rocks. PTA on Teemo, kind of box standard. Airy for Victor, again, you're looking for the poke. The burn on Brand says what it does on the tin. And then obviously Pluma's got the Aftershock, which again, her plan is to jump in, be the big meat shield, and then get the hell out of there.
Yeah, they do have really good frontline options here on the side of Meepa, to be honest with you. I think Skarner, especially as a champion who scales with health, I find it weird why you wouldn't take Grasp. But again, I suppose Puppy wants to die by the sword of playing suboptimal runes because she's done it all tournament. So, you know, we've seen like Unsealed Spellbook on like 4 unique champions from her. And yeah, I mean, we'll see whether or not she can get good damage out of this Comet, but I am a little dubious of it. And then PTA for Bushy, I think, makes a ton of sense. She is winning this lane, though. Yeah. Is this just like a knowledge check or something? Like, is the time
to be fair, I think it's because of the fact that obviously the Q, you know, if she has the rock in place, it does do max health damage. And against the Tom, that is such a big advantage early on. You know, yeah, neither have any items, neither have anything. We do have someone leaving the game.
Oh, hell no.
And there's the boss.
Nah! Not like this. This happened in my last series I cast as well. We had pauses every game. What were we? EULCS, Long Bay, technical issue pause. Do we have any confirmation on what the pause is actually about?
It is because the Talam Kench's PC has crashed.
Ah, okay.
So I don't know if that had any effect on play.
Too bad. I might be descending into delirium right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. So the way that you said "because" triggered. Have you ever watched The Wizard of Oz?
Not in any time recently.
Oh, okay. When they sing that they're off to meet the wizard, in other words,
Off to meet the wizard, the wonderful wizard. Yeah. No.
And then my brain just went because, and I'm like, for fuck's sake! We don't need to break out into song just because we're in a fucking pause break. God damn it!
See, to be fair, for a second there, I thought you were going to say the wonderful thing what Tiggers. The way you done that. But yeah, I mean, with the Weenie Hut, I'm not surprised we're going into delirium.
No, I think it's just like I've just had a long day. I don't even think it's the Weenie Hut games. You know, Weenie Hut's.
Yeah, I feel that.
These games have been alright, but yeah.
I mean, we have to say that the Weenie Hut has been
too crazy.
No, we have to say the Weenie Hut has been the best it's ever been. You know, we had a lot of frustration last season from the players because of some of the situations, but the changes that have been made have had a massive impact. I mean, you look at the fact that even though Meeper were the top seed, CBT are taking it to them because the teams are so balanced. You know, you look at the top, in other teams.
Yeah, balance-wise, things have been better. Although, now that you talk about balance, I think it's probably a good time to mention that there will be a feedback form coming out to people who did partake in the tournament. So, you know, we do it every season, but sometimes when people get eliminated, especially, you know, being a two-stage event these days, we don't tend to send the form out when teams get eliminated from groups. We'd wait until the event is over in its entirety and then send it out. And so sometimes some people leave like the server and stuff like that before it goes out. But yeah, if you are someone you want to have your say, there will be a feedback form coming out probably about a week after the conclusion of the tournament. So we want all of your opinions on how you want to see the future of the MiniLCS kind of, you know, manifest, right? Like for us, for example, big point of contention, we've had a load of people like it, we've had a load of people complain about it, default dates, right? Having every game default to Sunday at 7 BST has been a contentious topic, and like I said, a lot of people have liked it, but we've also had a lot of very vocal people say that they don't. And so this is where you can have your say, and that will be posted out in the server in an announcement again some point, probably within a week of the conclusion of the event on the 22nd of August.
I think for me, I think that's a necessary evil. You know, it's not something anyone wants, because we want to see the games happen when we can get full fives. But obviously we all know, you know, we're not professionals. You know, this isn't our only job. You know, not everyone can make every single game. Not every team can get a full 5v5. So having a date just kind of takes that away and forces teams to try and make it work. Find a compromise.
I'm about to get freaky with that feedback from alright, bro. Yeah, groups next time, then you can get freaky with something else.
Yeah, no, I do think though. I think, as I say, it's been the closest. Obviously, you know, I think there's always ways for every single tournament, regardless of level. There's small adjustments to be made, and I think if you don't, you've not done a tournament right, because there's always ways to make it better.
No, 100%. I agree with you. I think that's why we make it so public. Like we give the option for people to have their say, because at the end of the day, you know, even though none of us are getting paid here, obviously the community essentially, we as TOs serve the community, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, whoa, why does my there we go.
I would check the DMs because it looks like something
AI thing decided to just die. Here we go. What's up?
Because seemingly looking at the chat, there's he's having issues. We're talking there's possible talks of resets, but I'll let you.
So I mean, what the situation would be if it depends on what they mean by he can't get in. This is the problem. So I don't really understand how they would. Have they tried just like resetting their PC?
I think that's what they did. I think the PC fully crashed.
Yeah.
He's restarting the PC a game.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll try and resolve the issue. In the event that they cannot resolve the issue, considering the game has only been going for literally 10 seconds, no, not when it was. It was a little bit more than seconds. It was like 2 minutes.
3 minutes
yeah.
8 to be precise.
We could reset, but they would have to do exactly as it was. So it would have to be same runes, same summoner spells, same champions, everything as it was.
Thankfully, there's no death, so nobody's got a gift of death.
It's already quite late, so unable to load. Oh, well, okay, hold up. I've just been sent a reference of what the issue is, and it's not unable to load into the game, as in unable to load into the lobby. It's unable to log into the Riot client.
Oh god, so not this again.
I was going to say resetting the game at that point wouldn't change anything. So in that case, it would just be treated as a DC. So that means that if they can't fix the issue within the 15-minute time window, then they will just play as 4v5. So hopefully they can solve it, because yeah, there's no precedent to reset there. Like,
So I know there was a game the other day. I don't think they got into game, and I'm pretty sure it was the Dagestanian game versus CBT, where Riot Client decided in between games 2 and 3 to say fuck yeah, game 1 and 2, sorry, to say go to hell, we're not working, because there was 2 series on at once. I was kind of watching it in the server, and it was just chaos, and it ended up, obviously they had to reschedule it. So I know that's not what we want. We want to see these teams finish this on the Rift today. But yeah.
Yeah, no, hopefully.
Big F's in chat right now.
But yeah, hopefully we can fix the issue.
Do we want to maybe go to a short break?
We should probably, yes, because they're just gonna work. Like, I'm a person who cannot multitask, as Aaron will let you know, and I'm currently being DM'd by like 4 different people, and they all want me to try and help to resolve the issue, and I cannot do that, and also pretend to be entertaining. It's not something I have the mental capacity for.
Yeah, I think we just take a short break, Aaron, and then we come back.
Yeah. All right. Sweet.
And we're back.
Welcome back, everybody. Hey, we are here with the result of what seems to be some major technical issues on the top laner of CBT's side. We have investigated it, and it turns out to be a local issue on their end. So, despite how incredibly anticlimactic it is going to be, the rules do basically state that the enemy team have to play 4v5. Well, I mean, soon as Faxes can join again, he can play. But, you know,
correct.
There's no
to a massive disadvantage. There is precedent that the 4v5 team does win these things. I take you back to the ELO Submarine versus, I believe it was it the Mandem or was it 5? No, I think it was 5DK.
It was Grump support group.
Was it GSG? Never mind. All I remember.
Oh wait, hold a phone. Spoiler alert. It's fixed. So all we have really lost is the 15-minute wait for CBT. So they no longer have any pause break time. But apparently his client has been repaired. So there may be a period of like a minute or so in this game where he is still DC'd, but he does make it back. So thank God, because yeah, that was gonna be a mess.
That's not how we want it. It's not how we want to end this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want fourth place team to be like, oh yeah, you ended up here because your fucking top laner DC'd and couldn't come back for like 20 minutes or something. It's so anticlimactic, you know, and especially with the story that Corner Ball Torture have had, the rise they've had, you know, they've been a team that has scaled so aggressively in this tournament so far. For them to have to end on that kind of sour note would leave a sour taste in everybody's mouth. I don't think Meepo would be happy about it. They want to win fairly, you know, they want to win in an environment where they are, you know, equal to their opponents. And as we see, an equal trade not had there in that mid.
Yeah.
The Elo Insurgent threw himself in and had to flash immediately out of the anti-gravity field. So struggle there for him as he eats a laser to the face and is going to have to... surely you don't base there again. You will walk to your tier 2 and base.
Can't. Like, I mean, he's trying it, or he's going to stay. But into Victor is not a great position. He is going to back and try and back there. And looks like he's going to get stopped, but Vego is here. We're not seeing it on the game. But looking on the mini map, and so much poking in the bot side. But yeah, it looks like they're both going to get the reset. At least Diana's finally going to get the reset thanks to Viego. But we're just getting videos of bot side here because this Brand's poke is actually disgusting.
Yeah, Brand AP carry is a champ of all time. Even before the AP carry meta was a thing in the bot lane, Brand bot was already still something that you could do. And ever since AP carry bot has become meta, it has been one of the best options for that, you know. He does so well with the extra item, he does so well with the extra gold in his pocket off of the bot lane quest. And he's very hard to punish. I will say I'm not used to them taking barrier. Usually it's a TP, but I guess Brand knows
it's always TP.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Tristana and the Nami are always
news we've heard all day.
They're gonna want to jump on his head, right? So having the barrier will actually kind of keep him safer in that instance, right? But yeah, reconnect there for Fax, and he is going to TP straight back into lane there. We can see that Puppy has got the proxy going on here, and immediately Loomis comes here to the top lane to try and safeguard his Tom. And he's only 2 levels down.
800 gold, 20 CS.
Yeah, catch-up XP will make it so that he won't be that down for too long, hopefully. He will be down still, don't get me wrong, but like, you know, he's gonna get a little bit more on average than Puppy will in the top lane for the next couple minutes until he gets to, you know, a little bit closer to where she is.
We're not going to talk about that Diana Q, which didn't stop the back. It was more of a mind game. The mind games. It's Winnie Hutch, mind games.
It's Andy's first game of the night, you know. he's winding up. Trust. He's gonna turn it on soon.
Now, this for me is where you ask the question, right? Game 2, you won in the end at a canter, but it was quite close to the biggest chunk with your sub, right? You then obviously put Andy back in, as he should. He's the main roster. is there an argument? Just stick with the winning formula, especially with the fact he's coming in cold, and Llama Knight is able to punish. Like, I want to see the main 5 every time, but at this state, is it better? I mean, what's your view to maybe look at keeping the sub in for one more game?
If they were gonna do what you're saying, right? Yeah. If they're gonna do what you're saying, then in theory it would be Fax mid and not Chronos. And then we question, well, what other champions does he have in the bag, right? And then also we would have to think, logistically speaking, he would have still had the same DC, which means that he would have accidentally given a 2-level lead and like a 30 CS lead to the best player, arguably, on Meeper. So I think
that, we see the gravity field coming out from onto Elo Insurgent, and he's just gonna get a Teemo shroom to the face, a Teemo dark to the face. But we're going to see Loomis looking for an angle, doesn't quite get it even with the shroud. And yeah, I just don't think you can fight Grubs anytime soon. Like, I don't think you can fight an objective. I mean, Viego is ahead of this Teemo, and Nami is here as well, but so is Pluma. And yeah, there's just no way into the pit.
Yeah, the red team just have complete control of this area right now. Even though it is a 4v4, you know, we are still reeling a little bit in terms of XP just from the DC, so they kind of have to let it go.
He's back up to level away, though. He's back up to level away. Yep. I don't know if we can see the XP graph to see how close we actually are to this.
Yeah, that was I was mentioning, like, his catch-up XP is so potent in the modern game that, you know, a DC doesn't actually mean the be-all end-all these days. You can catch up pretty quickly as long as you don't get mega punished. You know, and we haven't seen Bushy really do that. Bushy hasn't looked top once in... would I be remiss to say, has Bushy not looked top once in the entire series? I don't think I've seen him top in the entire time.
It's Weenie top laners don't exist for junglers.
Well, speaking of top laners not existing, Puppy's gonna get caught under the turret. Took 2 turret shots for nothing. Got consumed by Fax on the ultimate, but is gonna burn their flash to get themselves to safety. And,
that's positive for this Tom.
Yeah, it is 100%. The fact that he can hang right now, despite being so down because of DCs, is it's really good for him. And you're gonna see Diana go in there. Ultimate's gonna get popped by Llama Knight, and she burns flash as well, just to make sure she doesn't die to the Victor. And this mid lane is just purely in control for Llama. So hard for them to play.
Viego can't even do anything to help, and it's having to run away from the Teemo, who actually has a level lead now. As Elo Insurgent does get another laser to the face, there's no burn on the Victor just yet from items, so he's fine. The Raptors, I think they went over to Bushy, but I'm not so sure.
They went to Bushy, yeah. I believe that Loomis smited it, but then it died. It lived on like 17 HP, and then it was 1 auto for Bushy, and he got it. So it is a rough one there, but they get
1.9k now in the favour of me, but the biggest lead we've seen at this point for any of the teams. Obviously, a big factor of that is the fact that Skarner did get to free farm for 5 minutes, but we've not seen, like, out with the fact the tower's half health, there's not really been a punish.
No, not much more. It is not too bad here for the blue side.
He's going to get caught by the Viego here in the jungle. The stun will land, and Tomkins will get the knock-up. Elo Insurgent walking as well. The ult does come out from Skarner, but it doesn't get enough. And that's just a dead Scorpion. And in fact, the guy who DC gets first blood in this game.
It's crazy that it took so long for us to get to this point where we got the first blood. But like, some of these lane advantages for Meeper have just been, they're going to be difficult to play through. That 1k gold lead here for the Victor. Again, we've seen Llama Knight do it before on these kind of carry champions. He's someone who can play very measured, very safe, and just scale up and then cause major problems for the enemy team as time passes, right? And Victor is one of those champions. If you don't shut him down, he will carry in the late game. And so I'm going to be keeping an eye on that, because I think that Elo Insurgent is going to have a really hard time in this game finding good targets. You know, every
Look
single
at this
one
as well. Loomis is back in the top lane. That's just tanking. You know, he's got some items now, so Skarner can't do anything. And Loomis is just going to help Fax get another kill. Bushy is walking up, but he's really late. And yeah, kill for Loomis.
I like the plan here from Vulnerable Torture. I know they. Oh, hold on.
The Nami on the Disco Fish doesn't get enough. Mark taking a lot of damage. It looks like Dexy's going to burn to death here from the brand. And there we go. Meanwhile, we've got Loomis having to flash away from the Teemo and Vector. Flash has been burnt left, right, and center here.
Yeah, there's a lot of big cooldowns. And yeah, they just didn't respect the damage there from the Brand. Brand is a champion, you know, he's got Deathfire Touch as well here, so his passive alongside Deathfire Touch, they scale together so well. And it just means that he can, you know, you're taking damage from Brand like 3 or 4 seconds after he finishes actually hitting you. And it is so disgusting as far as damage over time goes. And, you know, he's going to finish the Blackfire Torch here as well. So he is... Yeah, he's going to be a menace in this game. And my question is, of the Meepa players, who is going to be building the pen first, right? Someone needs to build the Bloodletter's Curse. Like, there's no way this team gets away with not having it. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if you maybe have 2 people have it, just to make sure if one of them isn't in the team fight, someone is applying the anti-MR. But
I think it has to be Galio and Skarner. I would imagine with the fact Skarner has a lot more income, it will be him, because obviously Galio will want the mandate. He does have, obviously,
nice
the crown. Yeah, Knight's Vow, so that's going to be really big. So obviously they've said, I'm going to tank all your damage, because Brand's going to put out enough.
Yeah.
You know, they are playing for him. They're playing for this Teemo as well. But they need something, because once this Tarm gets this second item, he has his Heartsteel. You know, Skarner's not going to have any real threat onto him, even with a max health damage. Like, Fax should have a really solid. We are going to see Tristana jump in, and nobody's there with her. Because a lot of damage onto the Brand. There's the jump again, but the Galio's entrance does come in. Disco Fist does survive the ultimate. The Nami ult does just go wide. And everything was so close. Meanwhile, Llama Knight gets ulted in by the Diana, but the Gravity Well is there. The Arcane Storm doesn't really do enough just yet.
She came very close there to dying. It was super rough.
Galio
but
has to be careful here, because we are seeing Viego flanking around, looking for an angle, looking to try and catch this Brand out, and indeed he does get the stun onto him, gets all the damage, but the burn is there, and the burn is huge. Kill onto Loomis for Pluma. You would really want it on the Brand, but it doesn't really matter because you get the mid turret as well.
Yeah, no, there I think the a little too over aggressive from Loomis. Again, the problem here is that so many of these AP items also build health, right? We're gonna see again the rocket jump coming from Mark though, but look how much damage he takes. We mentioned he needs to dodge the CC if he wants to play this aggressively, and yeah, eating the Brand stun there just makes him sitting duck for the entire combo of the Brand. And
the only good thing is he does get the shutdown.
Yeah, the 1-for-1 there does make it actually a net positive for CBT, but it's,
and there's the collector as we expected.
Yep, exactly. Every single game, maybe let's go. I think on the Ezreal he may have gone Triforce first, but you know, I'm sure there would have been a collector in there somewhere, you know.
I'm sure he was fighting all his urges there. As we are going to see Puppy top laner just walk up and hit the turret for free, although she's taking a lot of damage and will get eaten by the Tarm, but not enough to prevent the tower going down, and Puppy top laner will just scoot out of there. Meanwhile, we're dancing around this dragon again. I mean, it's 2 dragons already in favour of Meepa as the lash of the tongue comes out. He goes into the water as Fax will get pulled under tower. He will get the kill, but not before he dies as well. And now all eyes are on this 3rd dragon. This is Soul Point if the side of Meepa get it. Llama Knight instantly takes a lot of damage from the Viego, but Loomis is dead. The jungler's dead. The Nami ult is 5 years too late, unfortunately. Elo has to run away from the Arcane Storm as Shelly rains down on that tier 3. Llama will have to reset. I don't think they can do enough to prevent this dragon and Soul Point going across to Meepa's.
I think I might be getting a return on investment in this one, boys. The Stimmos might be coming home. Let's go. Because right now, with the 3.4k gold lead, I think Meep look like they are firmly in control. It doesn't matter if your damage profile is all AP, if the enemy team doesn't build any MR. Yeah, if you are ahead, it doesn't matter. It's, you know, until we get to those late game team fights where we have everybody on 2 to 3 items. But yeah, look at this. Really well done by Puppy to bait in the Tom here under his own turret. I think the gold does actually favor Tom though. As we break down this play, Viego goes in, but no one is with him. We see Diana has to commit the flash to even get involved, and they just don't get anything for it. And this is the thing, Victor is so safe right now with the defensive tools available to him from his own kit, and then the protection coming in from Pluma on this Galio. It's just so challenging for him to really make plays onto Llama, but at least with the flash down, Loomis has flash now. He has flash still, I should say. So, you know, he's gonna be able to try and make something happen, but we have to say so much has been hemorrhaged already, right? They've given 3 Drakes over to Meep as, you know, 3.4k gold lead already. We need to contest that last Drake, unless we want to just give over the Mountain Soul. But if you give up a Mountain Soul, then Loomis's job, Mark's job, and Diana's job becomes so much harder, because you want to blow someone up, and if they have all those extra resistances and all of that extra shielding,
I just don't know how Victor gets Viego gets through some of these.
Yeah, again,
like,
without them playing it fully, it's really hard for him to find angles.
And this is where it becomes so hard. You know, you've got that front line. It might be very AP heavy, but with obviously Fax, you know, he's behind. He's gone Heartsdale, which again I don't hate. But
he's not that behind at this point, though. He is only 200 gold down. He is down in XP.
He's in it.
Expected. Yeah.
But what I'm not a fan of is the fact that if you look at the boot choices, you know, you've got Viego doesn't have boots yet. Fair enough. Diana has got her boots, but I get why Nami's gone Lucidity. I think you just have to spend whatever you can into Magic Resist. Yeah. You get so much value this game. It outweighs the CDR.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, Mark has the Merc Treads as well, so he obviously...
Oh, he does, yeah, sorry, my apologies.
Same school of thought. It looks like they have 3 of 4 people with boots have that. So, yeah. And I imagine Loomis goes for the treads as well, because not only is it extra MR, which is obviously going to make every single person on the enemy team do less damage to you. The tenacity is key here, because especially for the Viego, right? Like if he gets caught by the shielded Durand, like he just dies. You know, we've seen it already, and if he gets caught by the anti-gravity field, if he gets caught by the stun from the brand, it's nigh impossible for him to play through it, because he's not going to build tanky. Like, he's going for what looks to be I think it's Kraken Slayer here, right? Because he's got
it has to be Kraken, and then it has to be Bork. It has to be Bork.
Oh, I don't know about the Ring King. I don't think so. I don't think he needs that. I think he will have enough damage profile out of the Kraken Slayer and the Collector that I think he goes Shield Bow next, or potentially like MR, right? Like I mean,
I think Wit's End's quite a lot of value.
I might upset some Viego enthusiasts in the chat by saying like Kaenic Rooker angle, maybe. You know, it gives him tons of health, tons of MR, and extra magic.
I don't hate it
as well. Like, you know, he's already got his core damage in the Collector and in the Kraken Slayer, right? I mean, you know, the enemy team are pretty squishy. They only have one tank, like one true tank in the Skarner, because we have a support.
I mean, Galio is. I would say Galio is rather tanky as well. He's not as good as tanky.
But he's a support, so he's going to be down on XP and down on gold, and so even though he is a frontliner and he is a tank, you know, once the aftershock wears off, he's not going to be, you know, as beefy as like a solo lane Galio would be, right? So that's why you don't need to worry about it. Although we can see second item completions here for most of Meep, and that Bloodletter's Curse has been picked up by Brand. So yeah, any MR these guys pick up now is going to start to get shredded, as Brand will spread the love with the anti-MR propaganda.
Yeah, we're 20 seconds from this dragon, and this is where, you know, push comes to shove for CBT. If you're going to get back in this game, it needs to start here. You've had 20 minutes to get into this game to fight and have a chance. This is the dragon you need, but look at all those shrooms. As the TP will come down from Skarner being the first one to move. Tom Kent is a late TP, but it's a TP nonetheless. And now Galio's going to go in with the Winds of War and gets the knock up onto Diana. Diana is just popped by the Teemo. And now it's a 4v5 in favour of Meepa. As Disco Fist takes a lot of damage on Viego, but it doesn't matter because Viego is dead. Your main carry, your main chance to kill all these people is down. Your reset king is down. As Laminite's 1v3ing right now in the mid lane. Eventually has to flash to get out, but he flashes back and he brings them to the party. And it will be Pluma picking up a kill on the Tristana. And now he can play defense, guiding them to the shrooms. As the gravity well is there. Llama gets a massive shield there. And it's an ace for the side of Meeper. They are in complete and utter control. 6.6k up in this decider.
Yeah, at this point with the soul, with the gold lead that they have, with the team fights that have gone down thus far, it's just so hard. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking at those pings in there and I'm kind of like, I think the tilt might be setting in a little bit for the blue side as well. Because yeah, Diana has had a very, very difficult time getting into this game. And there is so little that she can do at this point. So it's, yeah, and we watched this replay, like she was half health before she even moved. She presses E to go forward into a fight that, I'm not gonna lie, she doesn't win even if she got the target she wanted. And she just eats the E from Skarner, the knockback, and it's just, yeah, it's curtains for her from that point onwards, you know. And then you look at all the space that Victor can create here, and you know, Mark goes in on his Hail Mary play, but he just doesn't have the resources to really deal with it. Like, you know, it's a last ditch effort here, and as we see Tom get caught up in the top lane as well, and it's just so rough from that point onwards. There is not much they can really do.
I mean, we're seeing a fight here in the river here. Elo Surgeon is just going to get away as Brand will take the tower. I think the only way CBT can play a fight is they have to get a pick of someone standing out and being out the way. Problem is, I don't see how they get that. If Meepa play like they have been with, I mean, this is not it. This is just not it. You cannot face tank into people. Like, you have to go for the pick here. Like, it is the Kraken as predicted, and it looks like a wet send for the Viego, but I don't know if it'll be enough time.
No, it will be Smoke Treads. Yeah, it's Smoke Treads, yeah. I mean, he might go with send third item if he thinks he needs more damage, but I genuinely at this point think his damage is fine if he can get it off, right? The problem is, can he get it off? And so this is why we need what would traditionally be a shield bow here. I still think it's a fucking shout. I still think Kane Rukon, like, just the amount of effective HP that will give him in these team fights. You know, look at how he loses that fight because he just can't survive the damage, right? I mean, he does have an 8 heal. He could maybe go Spirit Visage or something. Yeah, I mean, he's 4-1 and 2, but like that. If you look at total gold, yeah, I was gonna say if you look at total gold, I think that's mainly because Tristana has 60 CS up on him, because the Galio played away from lane for a lot of the game, right? So. But yeah, I think that the job here is a Herculean task for Corner and Ball Torture.
I just can't see them coming through. I think I'm losing 5k points here.
I think it's such a difficult run for them to be able to win this game, and so it might.
They are going to get knocked up onto Bushi here, though.
No follow.
The Namiel will come out, will hit 2. The bubble will land onto Bushi. Hold on. Somehow they're just face checking and making it work. But this is the pick. You know, they don't have the Ruskan and the Viego. The Victor isn't there, and Viego will get the kill. He now goes into Teemo form. But it doesn't matter. It looks like the Meepers, they're eating good tonight, folks. They're going to get an ace.
That was 45.
It looks like
Brander's bot.
Yeah, 4v5 ace. Technically a 3v5 because Teemo died early.
Roderick killed
3v5
well.
And Disco Fisk is just there, shepherding his wave into the turret. You're now talking a 10k gold lead in it. When you get to 10k, normally looking towards the next game. The problem is for CBT, there is no next game.
Hold the phone. Keep the damage graph off of me real quick. 10, 19.7, 6. Oh no, let's even take. Llama Knight has dealt more damage in this game than Faxes, Loomis, and Mark combined.
That's crazy.
Has been destroyed.
Let's take that into account. In fact, actually, wait. If we do 10, 19.7, 22.7 would be 23.1, 29.1. He almost does as much damage as everybody on the CBT side, other than Mark. He has only like 700 gold, 700 damage off of having done the same as those 4 players. Like, he has had a disgustingly good game this game. The Victor is genuinely Thanos right now, and yeah, it must hurt a little bit there for Elo Insurgent, you know? Missed the first 2 games of the finals, come in finally for game 3 after, you know, having the issues that he presumably had that made him miss those first 2 games. And then it's the lead in your lane that is, you know, feels like it's the crux of why the game is going sideways.
I can say from history when we played last season, never mind, Neil's just going to get blown up before the fight even starts. You know, coming in, you know, when all the chips are down. I remember we lost a game 4.
Straight dead.
It's just dead.
I think this is the final fight.
It has to be, surely. Yeah. Now, Tam is here. Doesn't decide to pop the ultimate to save Loomis. Has to out away. The Heartbreaker comes out to try and save his life. Fax is doing everything he can. He's tanking up for it, and he's just dead.
Yeah, that's got to be it, man. After a hell of a back and forth game 1 and game 2, this is just yeah, they're kind of going out sad here, I think.
Yeah, this is not how we wanted it. I mean, Loomis has to go for the Hail Mary here, and Poppy top lane's going to dive the tower. And yeah, he won't get a shutdown onto the Victor, so he won't be deathless. But yeah, that is unfortunately the end of CBT. Their run in the mini LCS is donezo. It is going to be a rematch between Meepers and the Rift Raiders to decide who will face off against the Holy Poro. Will it be Bushi and his Meepers, or will Drills and the Raiders go back for the rematch? Who was your MVP there, Jack?
Oh, definitely Llama Knight. I think it was, yeah, Llama Knight every day. I think he had a stellar series there. Even in the game they lost, even in the game 2, I don't think that he did too badly, right? I think that on the Swain against the LeBlanc, he stayed up fairly consistently. In game 1, I believe he was a large proponent of why they were winning, and in game 3, I mean, the damage numbers speak for themselves, right? I think that he got to free hit a lot in lane. So like they might be a little bit misleading, but you know, in those team fights, we saw he was 3v1ing people while they had like Brand on the other side of the map and whatnot. And yeah, it's got to be between Llama or I think Bushy probably. But I'm going for Llama. I think that he had a very consistent series, and I think he was consistently better than whoever was in the mid lane. Whereas I think Bushy, obviously in game 1, yes, he broke down their emergency sub, but in game 2, I think Loomis did. I think he did markedly better than Bushy. And then in game 3,
Loomis just could get into the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think in game 3, I think that Loomis just couldn't get a foothold in the game because his mid lane. His mid lane was getting his shit kicked in, and his top lane was AFK for the first 7 minutes of the game. Like, once Faxes was back in the game, yes, we saw the plan. The plan was farm this top laner, farm the Skarner, and get free kills onto me so that I can maybe try and make something happen. But it was a little too late, essentially. Yeah, because they couldn't do anything for the first 2 full clears because there was nowhere for him to really go. We didn't see too much priority bot lane as well, and I think that Mark and Ditzy did a good job, but you know, it just wasn't enough. I feel like at the end of the day, it was the mid diff was a little strong in this game and in game 1, and also in game 2. I think that the Swain was despite LeBlanc doing her job in the later stages of the game, the laning, the early game, I think Swain was better, right? And so yeah, my
100%.
MVP vote definitely goes to Llama.
I think I have to agree.
What about yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, there's not much you can do. Apart from that, I think, as you say, he was strong. I think Puppy had some good games in top lane. Bushy was Bushy. He was reliable. He was there when he needed to.
Game 2 was good.
Yeah. I think Poppy had a great season. I mean, you got to remember, the Meepers were playing against 3 different rosters, so they had a hell of a performance to be able to adapt. I mean, it's got its advantages, it's got disadvantages, but they came in, they did what they needed to do. So it's going to be interesting. Now we go to best of 5s, which is something that.
So on Thursday, obviously, we do have Rift Raiders up against Meeper, the rematch here. And it will be in best of 5. It's going to be the first best of 5 for Meeper, the second best of 5 for Rift Raiders. Obviously, they dropped 3-1 to Holy Horror, I believe, last week, Sunday. Yes. So but then you got to think about momentum as well. Meeper, they come off of this 2-1 win. They 2-0. In the space of time between Rift Raiders' last series, Meeper have played, I think, 2. Sorry, they played 2 series. They played both against Snacks that they 2-0'd in handy fashion, and against CBT here where they've won in 2-1. And in both of their wins, they won fairly dominantly. So momentum is very much on Meeper's side as they move towards this series against Rift Raiders on Thursday. And, it'll be interesting to see. I think that they lost 2-0 to Rift Raiders in best of 3. I think stylistically speaking, Rift Raiders kind of have a little bit of an edge on them, because the best players in Rift Raiders are their bot lane, right? Or at least Karai's, right? And their top laner, Melancholy Maze, has been done. We were talking about high value point players, right? And I think Melancholy Maze is one of those people. I can't say it definitively, but I feel every single time I see Melancholy Maze win lane for Rift Raiders, they win the game. It doesn't matter what the rest of the game state is. If he's winning lane, they win game. And tends to be that when they go up against the teams that have the better top laners, that's where they seem to struggle. But
I think that's what putting Kerrigan onto support. I don't know if that's one of the roles they're more familiar on, but they're having such a performance.
I believe they used to main support years ago, and then they moved to jungle, and they signed up as a jungle, and then because the team was struggling to find a silver support, a bronze support. In fact, I believe Kerrigan was bronze 1 upon sign up. They moved him to support to allow them to get a better, a higher ranked jungler, because they were finding it easier to find junglers. And to be fair, he smashed it. I think, again, if we want to talk about high value, value for money players, again, in the support role, Kerrigan's been real good. So it'll be fun to see him up against Bloomer on Thursday. But yeah, Aaron, unless you had a different MVP vote, I think we're giving MVP to Llama. Yeah, cool. All right, he agrees. So thank you everybody for watching today. Obviously, it's gonna be a bit on the late side here. 3-game series. We appreciate you all for watching. We will see all of you for the next stream, which Aaron, you can tell me when it is, because it will be you streaming presumably. I'm assuming we're not doing one tomorrow because you did today, right? Yeah, so it'll be on Thursday. It'll be one of the 2 best of 5s that are gonna happen. One of the 3 best of 5s actually, because I believe we have locked in all 3 brackets as losers finals now. So if I just quickly look at that, give me a sec. Yeah, of course, but I can at least say it. I'm not asking you to whip the bracket up, don't you worry. You get to keep the thing on our faces. Don't worry, bro, you're good. Oh, he's got it ready. All right, cool. All right, go on then. When you're ready then. There we go. So yeah, we've got Lucidity Red going up against the Mouser Mafia in the losers bracket finals for the Sweat Lord bracket. Lucidity Red went on a tear in the beginning of playoffs, but they have had some roster changes and they struggled heavily against against the Chudlings. The Chudlings destroyed them 3-0 in the first best of 5 for the Sweat Lord bracket. So they've found themselves here in the 3rd place game. Obviously, they are the people who put the Mouser Mafia in the losers bracket. But Mouser Mafia, it's got Walker, it's got Fat Cat, it's got Luca, it's 3/5 of the Cutters Cuties. they are lower bracket.
I would say it's basically the cuties.
Basically the cuties.
I mean, it's the T1 of the Swiss. They love a lower bracket run.
They are the perennial
and they
champions.
Somehow win it.
They do, yeah. Even in the tournament where we didn't have a losers bracket, they lost a series, came back because of a DQ, and then won the fucking tournament. Cost me my hairline. I swear to God, never gonna get over it. Meanwhile, on the other side, despite my best efforts to be Secret Agent Day Zero and cost team win their game, they were able to bring it back, and they 2-1'd Iron Revenant in the losers semis. So they will be going up against Mace deck of cards on Thursday. And last but not least, we will have the Weenie Hut, which is going to be, as we have just seen, Meepa, I Hardly Know Her getting their get back against Rift Raiders. So going to be a fun one for sure. Going to be interesting to see what kind of wacky shit Meepa bring out in a best of 5. We've never seen that champion pool stretch that far, and we've seen them pull out some unorthodox stuff in the tournament thus far. So, to
say the least,
very excited to see what they can cook for the BO5, and interested to see if Rift Raiders have got the minerals to win a BO5. Obviously they lost. They had good games in the 4-game series they had against Holy Poro, but it just felt like they were the better team.
I am confident they will. They've got a lot of work, and I know they've been games non-stop, try and fix the issues they had. But even then, I don't think there were actual issues. It's just some calls on the day, which cost them. Because I think Holy Power Traders in form are the best teams. Meepa are height, and they will put up a massive fight against Rift Raiders. I don't think it's going to be a very straightforward match for either side. I think we're going to 5. That's my prediction. But what I do think is that Holy Poro are still favourites to win the whole thing comfortably.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think Holy Poro are the team to beat. They've looked disgusting in the competition thus far. I'm
just happy to see Sion playing well.
The fact they didn't top their group, considering how well they've done in playoffs.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy.
Shows me, it's crazy. But that makes me excited.
That was all because Meepa beat them.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. Meepa, for as much as everyone, including myself, has discredited them, they have an X factor that no other team has. And so I can see a world where they beat Rift Raiders in best of 5, and I wouldn't be surprised. I can see both scenarios here, where I think Rift Raiders maybe play super standard and they just try to outhands, and if they can do it, then sick. But if the game is won by Meepa, it will be won in draft. They will cook with some really unorthodox stuff, and they will play to a specific win con that gets them there every time. And especially, I think, in the mid lane will be an interesting one, because we're going to see, I assume, Danny up against Llama Knight again, right? And I think Llama Knight is, for my money, the best mid laner in the bracket. I think he's up there with Vanilla. I think those two are the top 2. But Danny is someone who go on.
I think we've got the best 3 mid laners left in the tournament. There's no questioning that. Danny.
I think Danny on pick mages is good. I think off of them he struggles, but that's just what I've seen.
Danny's biggest weakness is he counterpicks himself. He thinks, I can play this, and this is someone who I played with him. He's a really good friend of mine. If he plays and he's in the groove, nobody can beat him, especially in this bracket. With the stuff I've seen him play in the VL leagues, he's insane. Problem is, we found obviously towards the end, he's just not had the success that he thought he was going to have. So it'll be interesting to see how they adapt for this finals, this best of 5 for all the marbles. But I think that's us for tonight.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. I think we are good to cut. I am now going to cook an incredibly late dinner. Yeah,
it's fine. I've been picking away at cheese and biscuits all this 3rd game, so that's my dinner tonight.
Thank you everybody for sticking around. We know it's obviously late, so we appreciate you all for being here on the stream. Enjoy the Stimo coins. for all the people who voted for Meepa. I got 1.8k stimmers. Let's go. I'm gonna gamble them all again on Thursday, baby. Let's go. That's how it is. I don't have an addiction, I swear. But yeah, we'll see all of you guys on Thursday for one of the 2 best of 5s that will be coming on. I can't say which one it is, but I will say that I know that having just played with them, I know that the Team Wind players think it's fucking hilarious that we have never actually streamed a Team Wind game on officials. So maybe we should do that for losers finals, but who knows?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe we'll make it so they have to make grand finals for them to get on stream. Maybe that's how it's gonna be. Who knows? We'll have to see. The Team Wind, or as I have now, the community is lovingly referred to them as the Hoi Hoi Boys, which makes me think of the Venga Boys. So I think they have like a bus or something. Could be fun. We'll see. But we'll see all of you guys on Thursday nonetheless. Despite whichever game we stream, it will be on Thursday. Thank you very much. We will see all of you in a couple days. Peace.
Bye.